X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just in arrogance when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep vaping with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shadowed minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You see now, watch me not now, punch your face down. Let me show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is so good to see all of you. What is up? How you doing, Exolar, Graza Triton? It's probably M3, Morgan Grail, good to see you as well. Cryptid T, what's up? Electrical Phoenix, hello, welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you before. Or Electric High Phoenix. I think you're new here. Are you new here? You might have been here once or twice before, but I don't think you're here often. The Left Testicle, how are you? Great name. Prancing Goldfish, good to see you. Shoten LLC and Wingo, good to see you as well. Our Family and Lilithian, what's up? Midnight Kitty Boy, good to see you back. Closeted Skeleton, how are you? Lucult, what's up? Trans Daughter of Water, you're here as always, good to see ya. It's probably M3, I already said hello to you. I already said hi to you. Disastario99, what's going on? Hey Xanderholt, hope things are going well. Overall, going pretty well, although, and this is the big thing, for those of you guys that don't know, I have to start a GoFundMe so that I can raise, it's looking like around $10,000 to get a lawyer on retainer to get that false restraining order that the woman that you all know who I'm talking about falsely filed on me in Los Angeles. Hopefully I'll be able to get it, like, dealt with before the court date even happens, because it's a false restraining order, and with a lawyer I could just get, like, the info sent to the judge. But, Yeah. Am I getting sued? No, just a false restraining order. She doesn't have money or a lawyer, so she just filled out like a restraining order form to put in a temporary restraining order and just submitted it. And if I don't like dispute it, then she'd win it by default. And there are tons of negative effects that can happen to me legally because of that. She could press for criminal charges if I have a undisputed one by default restraining order against me. She could also press for me to lose my gun rights. There's a lot of really fucked up things that she could do legally with this, weaponizing the legal system. So yeah, I'll have to raise about 10 grand through GoFundMe, I think, to get a lawyer to fight it. I mean, listen, this is something abusers have been known to do. It's been a long-standing trend of, like, abuse victim comes out, like, somebody who is abused comes out, and then the person who has resources, or at least the knowledge to do so, weaponizes the legal system against them to silence them. Not to take any justice against them for a crime or anything like that, but just to silence them, to shut them up. It's not gonna work on me, though. Yeah, Bouth, she filled out the paperwork. I almost certainly won't get served because, like, I don't know how she or even the, like, she... One thing that's funny is she didn't fill out my legal name correctly on the document she sent me. Like, my full legal name. Like, that, she didn't even fill it out correctly. So, like, I don't even know. Regardless, I'm getting a lawyer. And we're going to probably... Maybe we end up pressing charges against her. I could probably, with the amount of harassment she's levied my way, with, like, the constant messages on different platforms, I could potentially just, like... I could potentially just, like, end up suing her, or just getting a restraining order against her, and almost certainly getting it, like, approved. I would press charges? Oh, yeah. At this point, I'm very tempted to. Would be a very, very good idea. But yeah, I'll be starting that GoFundMe either today or tomorrow after stream. Depends on how lazy I am, but I'll definitely be getting it done tomorrow and shilling it on tomorrow's stream. Or by tomorrow. Keffels kept saying an acronym I liked. Darvo, yeah. Yeah, it's called Darvo, is what she's doing. She's already done it to her victims before, but both of those false restraining orders she tried to get against her victims to silence them failed. So yeah, it's just one of those things. We'll get it shot down too. She got a restraining order just because you called her a rapist? I mean, you can fill out a restraining order against somebody in your country for any reason. Whether or not it gets approved is another question. California, particularly LA's rules are really weird. You can get a restraining order against someone on the other side of the country and they just won't bat an eye at that. But if she'd done this in, like, many other states, the fact that I live so far away alone would immediately, like, rise suspicion, and they probably wouldn't have approved even, like, the starting of it without a lawyer. And it's why she's not doing it to Keffels, too. She's self-representing and doesn't have a lawyer or the money for a lawyer or a legal battle or legal defense of any kind. And so, in order to sue, or to even get a restraining order against somebody over, like, internationally, you need money. You know, you actually have to hire a lawyer and you need money. I'm American, as she is as well, on the other side of the country. But regardless, LA has its weird rules. Or California does. But, like, here's the thing, though. All this does, in the end, is Streisand affect the allegations against her, which I knew about when they were a legal battle that wasn't public, so I know this wasn't done for clout. That's the big thing. For those of you guys who are wondering why I so confidently said I think she's a rapist, it's because I knew about the allegations before they were public. When people make false allegations in this space, they do it for clout. They do it to make a big public statement, to destroy somebody, or to gain something from it, or both. But I heard about this quite a decent amount of time, not like a crazy amount of time, but a decent amount of time before it became public, I'm pretty sure. And, like, there's no clout motivation. These are two people who were abused and seeked legal action and succeeded, and she seeked legal action against them as retribution. And she's done the same to me, but it's not going to work. Lol, she's gonna be memed into oblivion now? Like, this is going to ensure that everybody associates her name and her branding, no matter how she rebrands, with this. And if I get a restraining order against her, which I'm gonna be honest, I probably will, and I almost certainly will get it approved, she won't be able to pull stuff like this before. And there's also a good case that what she's doing is also illegal, and that criminal charges could be pressed. So, we'll see. Speculation on my part here, but, you know, just from the cursory glances I've looked at the law in both my state and in California, what she's doing is illegal. Like knowingly filing a false restraining order against somebody who lives in another state, it is illegal. Xanderhall, I discovered you explicitly because of all the slander people keep throwing at you. Streisand effect is so real. That's one of the things that, like, so here's one of the things that I kind of find unfortunate. Like, you know, so for Vosh, look at Vosh. He does what I do as well. He, when he first started, didn't have as much of a filter and wasn't as careful with his words. And so he said shit that was easy to clip out of context by, you know, dishonest actors just kind of clip shit up and spread it around. And now his reputation, a negative reputation, one sort of built up by misrepresentations and lies, precedes him. So many people already know Vosh as any list of negative attributes that people have ascribed to him via rumors and slander and whatnot, that, like, I wonder how many people are at some point going to, like, check out one of his videos and be like, huh, oh, he's not just screaming the N-word or something like that. But the interesting thing is I didn't get that treatment so much. Because I've generally kept my nose pretty clean and I've always had a pretty decent filter about what I say on stream, because I always figured if I said something that, like, if I wasn't just extremely careful with my words and said something that was easy to clip away from the context that makes it not problematic into something that is easy to make people believe I said something problematic from, then that could be used to destroy a lot of my ability to grow and reach new audiences. And so I've always been careful about that, and I've always tried to think about, even before I say something, every way through which someone could try to misinterpret it, to try to make it as, like, obvious. If someone clips it out of context, for example, I try to make it so that what I'm saying is so obviously clipped out of context that people would just kind of feel compelled to go out of their way to find out what I was actually saying. A big part of that is I don't have a big pause between sentences where I need to add a follow-up to complete my point. Because if I add a pause, it's easy for people to clip it and make it seem like you were done talking. So I'll usually, like, take a big deep breath, say the first sentence, no pause, then immediately say the rest, like, run on the next of the sentence. So if somebody tries to clip it, it's very obvious they clipped me halfway through saying another word. Just stuff like that. There are little tricks you can do to make it a lot harder for people to get you. Like when DJ Mule pulled... So, for example, I think it really helped that DJ Mule pulled his crap. That really showed how many people are willing to step up to defend you. That was really nice. I really liked that. That was like the end of Avengers Endgame when Captain America's there and he's like, "Ah, I'm fucked," and then everybody shows up to help him. That was, yeah, very good moment. Liked that. Maybe if Vosh went on more podcasts, he would grow like Destiny has in the past year, IDK. Listen, this is actually something I've wanted to talk to him about, like, in person as well. And this isn't like a secret, he's open about this, but Vosh is very stubborn, and he's set in what he's comfortable with as far as content creation goes. And so, in some regards, he will avoid very easy, like, juicer content, because it's not really his thing. I debated him about this on stream once when the Chris Chan shit was happening, and I mean, what, you know, the news about what Chris Chan did to their mom. When day one of the Chris Chan shit, before any of the right had jumped onto it, people were requesting Vosh to cover it, and I'd covered it too. And I was like, listen, man, the right is going to jump on this. I don't know how much you know about Chris Chan, but they are the actual living embodiment of every negative stereotype the right makes up about trans people. If there are not lefties out there getting their voices heard on this, it is going to be adopted by the right, and the left is going to have to deal with that shit for a while. And we had like a talk about that. We ended up agreeing, but he didn't like talk about it. But in the end, I was right. Look at what ended up happening with the Chris Chan shit. Look at what ended up happening with the Chris Chan shit. So that's my one, like, big criticism of Vosh, is that he does get really stubborn and shies away, because of that stubbornness, from potentially extremely, like, either A, profitable on, like, a views and reach level, or even just profitable on, like, a money that could be reinvested into the channel level, you know? I do it too sometimes, to be fair, but, you know. I thought Chris Chan was a chud. Well, yeah, Chris Chan's, like, especially earliest posts online are, like, Nazi shit. Like, full-on racist, like, anti-Semitic, homophobic, transphobic, really like, just really just down the road, the worst shit you can imagine. Like, Chris Chan, very, very far right in the beliefs that, they were saying back in the day. But nowadays, has said, and I quote, Chris Chan became a girl and transitioned to a girl to, quote-unquote, be able to open up the market to lesbians to help find a boyfriend-free girl. Listen. The existence of Chris Chan's just not a good look. Yeah. Chris Chan is what the right thinks trans women are. That's all you need to know. Just imagine every negative stereotype the right has about trans people combined into one living, human, real person who has been watched, stalked, and, like, documented over the course of, like, 2 decades now online. That is Chris Chan. That is all you need to know. There are hundreds of hour-long video essay series that break down the history going back to, like, 2003. But, even the 1990s, some of them, they go back to, like, his childhood. But, like, seriously, if you don't care to get into it, that's all you need to know. Yeah, Lily Orchard is also a locale, yeah. It's crazy that she's still around. Like, Lily Orchard still having, like, this little niche audience is crazy to me. That's wild. Hemorrhoid King, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Says, stay strong, brother. Oh, don't you worry. I've got absolutely no problem with this legal battle. If anything, it's going to end up resulting in a lot of attention and positive growth for the channel, while also just bringing a lot more attention to what she did. And the fact she's trying to silence her victims, too. So it's just all around going to benefit me and hurt her in the end. I think she was probably just spiraling and thinking that filling out that form and submitting it, and then sending me the screenshot would be like an epic own that would scare me and, like, satisfy her like, panic over this, but no. No, it's a false restraining order. I've never interacted with her in real life. I've never gone out of my way to speak with her. I've only talked about her insofar as she has interacted with me, A, or 2, has been relevant to the topic that I'm covering on my stream. That's not stalking, it's not threatening, and it'll be shot down in court instantly. And I'm going to press actual charges, almost certainly. If I'm going to put $10,000 in as a retainer for a lawyer, I'm not just going to waste that money. Like, even if I get some back, like, I'm not just going to waste all that time and money and effort on just defense. You know? I'm not just gonna, like, no. I've got a lawyer now. I've got the evidence archived, both that, like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go any further, though. But yeah, it's just, it's funny. Don't worry about me needing to be strong. That's all I've got to say. Although I do appreciate your financial support. That is what you can do to help. Financial support for lawyer very much does help. As well as other things, too, because, you know, spending $10,000 in a lawyer doesn't mean I automatically don't have to eat or anything anymore, or have power or rent, you know? But yeah, anyway, we're just gonna be grinding out content, and we're gonna have that GoFundMe up, and hopefully we'll be able to raise enough money. I think we will be able to. Honestly, after watching Keffel's video about her, there doesn't seem to be any strong evidence against that she S8, against the claim that she S8'd someone. Oh yeah, she has not provided any compelling evidence. I think the one thing I saw that made me, like, because I wanted to see, like, the response she did and be like, okay, maybe there's something here that changes my mind, that makes me think maybe it didn't happen. But the best thing she had was an interaction that she and one of the victims had after the supposed rape took place, and I believe it took place, like, it was a positive interaction over text, and it's like, okay, I guess that would be what most people would assume, like, you wouldn't do with, like, somebody who victimized you like that, but it's not unheard of. Like, that's not solid evidence. But yeah. Anyway. Salty Shay, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub to Susie Clem BLM. That's a cool name. Thank you. I like how it rhymes. I appreciate the $5, and hopefully Susie Clem BLM also appreciates the tier 1 gifted sub. Oh, and Exolar, thank you for the $5. Very kind of you as well. Says hashtag save the Zan. Hashtag save the Zan. That should be the hashtag you guys get trending for this. Yeah. To be fair, there's a good chance that I don't even end up having to, like, do the court date thing once I get the lawyer and everything, but if I decide to press legal charges, then there'll be another court. Yes, it'll be a whole thing. I wonder if her doing this to me and me pressing charges on her, and the shit that went down and her having 2 restraining orders against her from her victims, and her failed restraining orders she tried to get with them. I wonder if that'll be enough to sort of, like, push the edge to get criminal charges, like full-on prosecution. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy, guys. That would be something. It wouldn't be nothing, that's for sure, chat. It definitely wouldn't be nothing. It'd be something. It'd be something and a half, actually. Okay, enough talking about alleged rapists. Let's talk about Minecraft. Wasn't that a smooth segue, guys? Didn't you like that segue? What is this music? You are all going to find out at the end of this segment that I'm about to start what this music is and where it's from. Trust me, that's actually a very good question. If only you'd asked it a little later in the segment. Very, very close to perfectly timed, my friend. Okay. Now. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1. Hold on, wait. Can I bring up my... Before I start the segment... Verify I'm human? Okay. There we go. I want to bring up the evidence of my gaming skill with Minecraft before I start this, okay? Okay. 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, everybody. If there's one thing you guys know about me, it's that one of my favorite things in the world, as well as one of my least favorite things in the world simultaneously, is Minecraft. I started my channel off with Minecraft videos, as many people did. I still enjoy Minecraft to this day, though I find myself playing modded beta versions more often than, even modded modern versions of the game. I do have a lot of problems with the game. And I could literally go on and list them for hours. I have on stream before. In fact, I have a plan to make a more scripted video about the sort of, in my opinion, degradation of Minecraft's quality from the beta era to modern day. Not necessarily a degradation in quality, but a degradation in charm, I guess. Anyway, let me show you guys something. Now, unfortunately, NameMC doesn't actually track your account going back that far. But you can see, at least going back to 2019, and obviously PigPuncher368 was my name for so long that the site doesn't even have it registered because it was my name since before this site existed. But, I played Minecraft for a good long time. By that I mean since early 2011, but in 2010, like the late half of 2010, I was playing a cracked version, as many people did. I've been playing since the start, okay? I've effectively been playing since the start. I wasn't playing the cave game, like, fucking tests or anything like that, but since Minecraft was, like, a legit game that people were playing and people were hearing about through YouTube. I was there from the start, I was in that target age, and I just grew up with Minecraft. Oh god, that one launcher. Let me show you what the Minecraft launcher looked like. Old Minecraft launcher, because there's been quite a few. Yeah, I started in late 2010, and then, like, got my account in early 2011. In large part because my friends wanted to play online. Before that, we would do Hamachi servers, and it was like, ugh. This is not even the one I'm talking about. Fuck this launcher. Remember this launcher and how mad we were when this was the launcher? This isn't the old launcher. I mean the old launcher. Yeah, boy. There it is. The old launcher. There it is. God, do you guys... Just how many memories does this bring back to you right now? God. This makes me want to play Minecraft looking at this right now. Tell me you don't want to type your fucking info in right now and play Minecraft looking at this screen. Dude. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm a nostalgic Minecraft boomer. And I've been there through thick and thin with this game. I started the game back when so few people were playing it. Like, I was one of the few kids in the community playing Minecraft when it started. I want you to think about it. Minecraft started off, the first wave of people who got into Minecraft weren't kids. They were like 20s to 30s, some early 40s, but mostly 20s to 30-year-old dudes who discovered Minecraft from RuneScape, WoW, and a myriad of other games online. And those are the guys who started YouTube channels and became the first wave of Minecraft YouTubers. Your X's Adventures in Minecraft, Paul Source Jr., I could go on, right? That was your first wave of Minecraft players, were like 20s and 30s dudes for the most part. But when they started making content, young kids like me slowly started to discover their videos. For the most part, early on, it really did feel like a lot of the people watching the Minecraft videos when I got into it were considerably older than I was. Like, around the age I am now and younger to, like, 16, right? And I was 11 at the time, so that was considerably older than me. And as I grew up, by 2012, the game was flooded with kids, right? And it became this stark differentiation between the older audience that make content on the game and the younger audience that consumes that content on the game and plays it, a lot, consumes a lot of merchandise for the game and whatnot. And as, in that early time of the game, like before it got popular with younger people, I would talk about the game at school with my small group of like 3 or 4 other friends who knew about this niche little block game. I want you to think about that. Me included, at my middle school, and 3 other people were the 4 people in the entire school that knew what Minecraft was and played it. I need you to think about how far back you have to go to reach that point. Anyway. He's too affected by nostalgia? Silence you. Anyway, moving forward, though, the game starts to get popular. You know, me and my friends would even get teased for playing the game because Call of Duty and, like, Battlefield and, you know, much more sleek, shiny graphics type games were more popular. And the idea of a voxel, pixel type game like Minecraft was laughable at the time. People would laugh at you for playing Minecraft in that first, like, 6 months to a year, right? But then it really got popular with the release of 2 things, the console edition and the pocket edition. That's when the game blew up with a lot of kids and became like a household brand name. And all of a sudden, my 4 friends and I were surrounded by a sea of people who were suddenly into Minecraft, and we were basically the 4 hipsters who played Minecraft before it was cool. And you better believe we harbored so much resentment for the fact that we spent a whole school year getting shit for playing Minecraft, and then after the next summer passes, and it's a new school year, and everyone's playing the fucking game on their Xboxes. And it's all on Xbox and phone, none of them on PC. None of them on PC like me and my friends were. So, like, we'd talk about mods like the Aether mod. They didn't know what we were talking about. They didn't know what the Aether mod was, or the Tropicraft mod, or Twilight Forest. They didn't know about, the Millionaire mod, or what the Tekkit was. At that point, Tekkit was starting to become a big thing. And, Technic Pack and Tekkit. They didn't know what that was, because they were on console. And so there was still this crazy divide. My heart's still broken about the Tropicraft series, dude. That was gonna be my, like, virtual tropical vacation for my birthday. Rough times. Anyway, Minecraft got really popular, and it just sort of became a big household name. But over time, stuff started to change. Notably, in 2014, Mojang, the company that, you know, owns Minecraft, got bought from Notch, that neo-Nazi guy that made the game, for, like, what was it, 4.2 billion? 4.5 billion? 4.5? I think it was 4.5 billion, right? Or was it 3.5 billion? Nearly 4 billion. I forget what the exact number was, but it was a few billion at least. Notch is a Nazi? How do you not know that? How are you a lefty who knows who Notch is and not know he's a Nazi? The dude has literally multiple times tweeted about the JQ. Like I forget what he said. People wouldn't be so afraid, or people wouldn't feel the need to talk about Jewish world control so much if we were allowed to talk about it without getting banned, I think is what he said. And that's just one of many things. He's very aggressively transphobic too. So, although I will give you this little bit of a cleanser, right? Simon from the Yogscast, Honeydew, a couple years ago said trans rights and tweeted at Notch to shut the fuck up with his transphobia as, like, Notch's birthday present to Simon, and ratioed the fuck out of Notch. It was a pretty based moment. For those that don't know, the Yogscast has for a very long time been very politically based as fuck. I'm not aware of any members, sorry, I should say currently in the Yogscast members, who are not based with their politics. There are a couple people who got booted out that I can only assume don't have the best of politics, judging on the reasons they were booted out. Yeah, what was his wife's name? I know her username was EZ, Notch's wife. I know her username was EZ, but it was like something Zetterstrand or something. She did a lot of the early coding for Minecraft. You guys know that, right? That Notch's ex-wife did, like, a pretty significant amount of work. Ellen, yeah, it stood for Ellen Zetterstrand was her username. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she did, like, a pretty significant amount of early coding work on Minecraft. Like, a fair amount. You could even argue that she did almost as much work as Notch on making the game early on, or in the interim period before they broke up. But yeah, I think like I think her brother or somebody related to her with the same last name did another thing for Minecraft as well. Like, unironically, Minecraft at its start had the charm of this family project very early on. Like, even when Mojang was just a small team of like 8 to 12 people, and you'd see like the lineup of them on the Sphax texture pack loading screens, like, it still felt like a very insular, chill company. But that really started to change in 2014 when the first big Eula update came. We got to talk about Eula. Listen, I'm American, so the concept of the Eula is actually like pretty weird. And I only know it as the Minecraft thing. But to basically, explain it, an introduction to end-user license agreements. When a customer or business purchases a piece of software, they're not actually gaining ownership of the software at all. Instead, they're paying for the right to use the software. So basically, the idea is that when you get Minecraft, you agree to their end-user license agreement, and this includes a shit ton of terms that you agree to when you play Minecraft or use their service, that if you break those terms, they are allowed, legally, because you agreed to these terms, to revoke the service from you. As in, like, yeah, you paid for the game, but they can ban you from all online services, hell, even take your copy away from you and your ability to play it if they want, because you signed an agreement that says that you would do that. I love not owning anything. The Eulas are part of the you own nothing thing, by the way. Like, the whole, like, you will own nothing meme. Eula is one of the things that backs that up. Ownership of these software applications remains with the software vendor. To clearly specify terms, conditions, liabilities, restrictions, obligations, and more, vendors will gate their software behind an end-user license agreement. The end user, that's you, the consumer, then must agree to the stipulations outlined in the EULA before they can access the application. You've all agreed to Minecraft's EULA if you've ever booted up the game. You probably didn't read it. No one ever reads it, except the people who are, talking about this stuff. So, why is this important? Well, the EULA for Minecraft updated back in 2014. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the years before 2013 and the time before this happened in 2014, but regardless of what a YouTuber did for their content online, they had a Minecraft server. Do you remember those times? When every YouTuber had an official Minecraft server, and 99% of the time, it was a factions server. At the time, I was annoyed as fuck about this, because I missed classic old survival servers that just didn't have plugins and weird shit, and I felt that factions servers and minigame servers were kind of destroying the Minecraft multiplayer landscape. I was a Minecraft boomer in 2013, guys. But yeah, essentially, I look back on them as a very negative thing, but honestly, in hindsight, they were actually a very clear sign at the game's health. The game was so successful that every YouTuber had an official Minecraft server. You could look in almost every popular YouTuber, no matter what they did, probably started their channels off with a Minecraft YouTube video. That was a very good sign for the game's health. Now, for those that don't know, faction servers relied on one particular thing to make the majority of the money they used to A, maintain the server, and B, update the server's hardware and software to keep it running well, and, obviously pay staff, pay builders. There's just a lot of things that go into running, like a big Minecraft server, or even like a smaller scale, like 100,000 YouTuber Minecraft server, right, back in the day. And that was selling kits. If you donated or voted for the server on like some vote or whatever database, you could get an in-game kit. And it would be like a modified item, not like a Prot 4 armor or anything like that, but like a Prot 10, right? And that would be the kind of thing that you could get already in the game, but if you donated to the server to help keep it up, you could get further, right? And there was a lot of discussion at the time about how this was unethical, and it was like kids are stealing their mom's credit cards to donate to these servers. But a lot of these servers also did like refunds and shit if like you emailed the YouTuber who was running them or the person who ran them. Like when that didn't happen, it ended up being massive scandals selling to kids. It ended up being like a massive scandal if like at the time whenever a like kid would steal the mom's credit card and buy like 500 diamond armor kits, and then the YouTuber would be like, "Nah, we don't do refunds." It would be that shit would destroy YouTubers' careers, so they would do the refunds. But there was still a lot of worry about that kind of stuff. Clipped. Someone in chat said selling kids or selling to kids, and I acknowledged them as, oh yeah, so there was a lot of drama about selling these kits to kids on Minecraft servers. Not, did I say selling kids, or did the person in chat say selling kids? I honestly don't know. Let me focus on my monologue, okay? You guys are trying to throw me off. Stop trying to fuck me up. Where was I? These servers, which were a massive, massive portion of the Minecraft multiplayer ecosystem, relied on this monetization model. For example, the Hypixel Minecraft server, not a factions server, though I think they have a factions mode. Lots of minigames, right? Literally the biggest Minecraft server. They were hit very hard by the Eula update because they had custom in-game items that you could get for, like, subscribing and buying roles on the server. Like, you can buy ranks on the server, and those ranks came with certain, like, in-game benefits. Because why not? Why wouldn't you want that? And that suddenly became against the Eula. The Eula change basically said you could not reward for money in-game items. You could not give in-game items to a player for giving money to the server. Which is just... I see how that system was being abused before, but that change was so severe that it killed so many Minecraft servers. Back in 2014. It killed so many Minecraft servers back in 2014. And do you know what happened after that event? After that original Eula update that just fucked over the entire Minecraft multiplayer space. Do you know what followed that update going after 2014? The first Minecraft Dark Age. You guys remember the Minecraft Dark Ages, right? Notch had sold the game started to have some really subpar updates that were really spread out apart, people just started to fall off, YouTubers got burned out and bored, the game's numbers and Google search trends dropped, it became embarrassing again to be a Minecraft player at school or at work or whatever. You guys remember that? The first Minecraft Dark Age followed that big Eula update. In large part because the massive, thriving multiplayer community for Minecraft got squashed by that Eula change. Things got worse in 2017 with another Eula update, which continued the downward spiral of Minecraft's popularity. And if it wasn't for nostalgia and some very well-timed and planned updates in 2019 and 2018, Minecraft could have very much become a niche little memory for a lot of people, rather than the still dominating game that it is today. Because we saw its massive explosion in popularity happen back in 2018 and 19, which was due to a lot of reasons, one of them being YouTubers finding new interesting things about Minecraft. One of those things was the experiences that can be had socially on Minecraft servers. All the new types of Minecraft content that blew up with the new Minecraft Golden Age that started in 2018-2019 was Minecraft server related. SMP Live and all of the SMPs that followed that with like Dream and the Minecraft Manhunt and speedrunning shit, and all the like the lore with the Dream people or whatever and the MCYT sphere. Those videos where it's like, I've got a Minecraft server, here's 1,000 of my fans, they're gonna build civilizations and go to battle with each other. And then, of course, finally, 2B2T. 2b2t.org, a server that has acted as a petri dish for historical events and toxicity and culture within a video game for over a decade now, that has over a decade of history and a handful of YouTubers varying in different sizes, some up to a couple million subscribers like FitMC, whose almost entire channel is dedicated to archiving events in history of said server. I hate 2b2t because of the where of the queue. We'll be getting into that in a minute, because if it weren't for that queue, 2b2t could not exist, my friends. That's the sad truth of it. So, that brings us to today. I predict another Minecraft Dark Age is on the horizon. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am well aware of how over-exaggerated this Eula update is. It is not as bad in some areas as it has been made out to be. Regardless of that, I still think that the areas in which this Reddit call-out post are accurate, and I checked the actual Eula, the dry-ass fucking Eula update page on the Mojang website and the Microsoft website. Some of these are true, and the ones that are true, the ones that I have a big problem with, I think are going to have massive reverberating effects on the game's popularity and the community and culture of the game going forward. Now, it's no surprise, by the way, that the Minecraft community is already split between two factions at the moment. You've got people who are mostly longtime Minecraft players who are really fed up with Mojang. Like, fed up to the goddamn max with Mojang. That's the crowd that I'm in. You know, I am in the fed up with Mojang crowd. And then you've got the dick ride Mojang crowd. There are a lot of people who just defend Mojang to a sometimes embarrassing degree. But I fall on the previous side, the former side of it. I'm kind of fed up with Mojang. There's a variety of reasons why. I think the mob vote is one of the dumbest things they've ever done. It breeds nothing but conflict and hatred between the player base. It basically forces us to decide whether or not we get to, they're going to give us a pithy amount of content in the new update. Now let's decide which thing we get to get based on how much utility it brings in the game. Like, whenever we have a mob vote, people vote on which mob to get based on which one adds more content to the game, because the game is so lacking in content that we overanalyze each of the 3 biome or mob votes or whatever things we get to vote on to find out and maximize every last drop of content we could potentially squeeze out of each option, and then everybody tries to vote for the one that they believe will bring the most additional content to Minecraft Vanilla, because listen, I could go on for a while. The game's content is not what I'm here to complain about. We're here to complain about the end user license agreement update. Okay. So, remember, some of the things said in this Reddit post are over-exaggerated. Some things are not true. I will point out which ones are not, and I will say which ones are and which ones are the ones that I'm most worried about. Eula updated after 3 years. It's officially 1984. Let's go. The last update to the Eula had previously been made on the 17th of April 2020, which caused massive issues within the community due to changes being purposefully loosely worded in a way that caused a ton of servers to shut down due to this non-compliance. Today, on the 2nd of August 2023, Mojang just released a blog post notifying users about changes to their Eula updates. Required by law. This is enforced by law. You have to be Eula compliant. The changed Eula and guidelines has been rewritten with lots of portions from the old version and has added sections which are likely to cause the game some serious damage, which this post will go over. This comes after the recent Guns server Eula drama, where Mojang arbitrarily decided, through loose wording, that guns fell under the adult content guidelines, forcing servers such as GTM to degrade their experience due to the fear of being restricted. For those that don't remember, there were a lot of Minecraft servers out there where there were modded textured items to be guns in the game, and there were first-person shooter FPS maps in the game where you could shoot guns at each other, and it was super cool. Mojang didn't like that because they want Minecraft and its servers even ones they're not official servers. They're run by just random people out there that invested their time and money into running it. They didn't like that the guns make the game look non-kid friendly. We'll be getting more into why that aspect of Mojang's priorities is a massive driving factor in the bad changes that they've made. As a gun server owner myself affected by this issue, I was awaiting for Mojang to reply to several inquiries made by gun server owners in a joint Discord group, which only led to Mojang naming the people capable of deciding we're out of office and that we had to wait over a month to get a proper answer. Oh, for those that don't know, the reason why the Mojang employees were out of office is because every time they're planning a new update, they use it as an excuse to go on a multiple month-long company vacation out of country. So, like, for pandas, they went to China and spent, 2 months in, a bamboo forest studying the pandas to get the most, realistic pandas for Minecraft. They did the same with llamas in, the fucking Swiss Alps or something. Yeah, so the employees are away on one of their getaways to research for the next Minecraft update. The answer we got? None. Instead, they updated the Eula, which essentially answered our questions, meaning that we and many more servers all have to shut down as we are officially non-compliant under the new Eula. I think some servers got around it by untexturing the guns back to just being wooden hose. And so I think you can still do this in some servers, but the guns are just wooden hose. So, yeah. That's nice. The gist of how this affects Minecraft from server owners to players with quotes of how it relates to this new EULA. Servers with paid player queues, such as 2B2T, are now non-EULA compliant. This along with another thing that goes after 2B2T specifically, are one of, I think, the biggest issue here. 2B2T videos, for a good amount of time back in 2017 and 2018, made up a fair chunk of Minecraft YouTube viewership on the entire platform. 2B2T's existence is a cultural impact on Minecraft, on this tier, almost as close to on the tier of Herobrine. Okay? Every Minecraft player at this point knows 2B2T. Making 2B2T not able to exist anymore would be really bad. Now, there was someone in chat earlier saying they don't like 2B2T because of the paid queue. Allow me to explain. For those that don't know, back in the day, early Minecraft, the game was a lot smaller, a lot more condensed, and this meant it was a lot easier to run server side. This meant that you could have literally hundreds, if not up to 1,000 people on a server, and it wouldn't crash, as long as you had a small enough space. I think the Yogscast were the world record holders for getting the most amount of people on a server back in the day. Let me see if I can find that OG video. Yogscast world record Minecraft server. This was way back in the day. Yep, here it is. And it's not it's running well or anything like that, but nowadays, you just couldn't do anything like this without certain mods. But this was, at the time, the world record. Everyone's frozen in place and rubber banding because the server can't handle this many people. God, this music was so common in videos back then. You heard this in so many videos. Scape loved using this music in the Whiteboard Wednesdays videos. Throwback. But back then you could pull something like this off, right? But here's the thing. Times changed. Minecraft became... there were updates to Minecraft's fundamental way of running that have to do with, it always being ran server-side, even natively when you're playing single-player, that essentially made Minecraft, along with many other updates, one of the biggest being 1.13, that made the game really poorly performing server side. Now, especially with the size of 2B2T being what's the server size now? I think the map is 8 terabytes in size at this point, something along those lines. Getting there at least. It may even be past that point now, depending on whether or not Elytra are enabled on the server. The server literally requires top of the top of the top of the line hardware to run. And the fact that Minecraft was never made to run with multi-threading means that you need a very particular type of good CPU in order to take advantage of that money you would be spending on a CPU to run Minecraft. And Minecraft is heavily CPU intensive, so you need a really good CPU to run even a server, right? And so 2B2T is forced, for the sake of performance, to have a maximum player count of 250. Here's the thing, though. With that said, there's a lot of fucking money that goes into running the server. Top-of-the-line equipment, management of, like, there's always having to be someone to go on and delete the lag machines now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but compared to back in the day, 2B2T's server performance is way better. Like, it's actually near 20 TPS most of the time when I log on. Granted, it's usually later at night, but that's in large part due to the fact that Housemaster and his mod team actually started enforcing a no lag machine policy. It's not truly anarchy, but I think this is a fair policy. Like, if people are literally just building machines in the game made to drop the TPS, then yeah, they need to get banned. 20 TPS is great if you can even get in. Well, the reason why they have the $20 fee to skip the queue is because without people donating the $20, the server can't stay up. People who pay for priority queue are why the server still exists. So, Bode Shaw, you're just kind of mad. I get why you're mad, but also, that money is what keeps the server up. What is TPS? I only know what FPS is. TPS is ticks per second. Minecraft is, like, basically every second in your Minecraft game, 20 ticks pass. And ticks are basically how often the Minecraft server communicates between your client and the server to line up and synchronize things that are happening, right? Like you break a block natively on your screen, on your client, and that communicates 20 times. Your client is communicating ideally 20 times per second with the server to make sure that what happens on your screen is also what's happening on the server's side for other players. And then that's also happening for other players, where what's happening on the server side is communicating 20 ticks per second with the players. But when the ticks drop, when the TPS drops, that causes there to be lag, such as you break a block and then you have to wait a few seconds before it actually breaks, or God forbid, you have to break it a few times before it actually breaks. Or if the TPS is low enough, good luck breaking blocks, period. That's what TPS means. So 20 TPS is ideal. Anyway, as I was saying, essentially, the queue existing, the paid priority queue that exists on 2B2T, being able to skip the line is the only reason the server is able to run. It's the only reason that the server has any hope in the future of ever updating past 1.12, because there may be future hardware that comes out that actually accommodates 2B2T's massive, massive hardware requirements and software requirements. Not to mention, Housemaster pays for server hosting as well. Now, I'm not saying that a bunch of that money isn't, like, going to Housemaster's pocket, but, you know, like, the existence of priority queue is not a bad thing. But that is now non-Eula compliant. So whether or not 2B2T will even be able to afford its own existence going forward is now being called into question. Any server or piece of online content, such as video or others, may be taken down due to any reason whatsoever if Mojang does not like what you are doing. This is basically a clause that is opening up Mojang to have the ability, if they choose, to take down any content using Minecraft that they don't like or agree with. So this could be like, you guys probably won't dislike this one as much when I explain what the intent of this probably is. It's for, like, when some kid uploads his Nazi Minecraft video where it's like, all right, everybody, here is my, I'm trying to do a German accent. I don't know. Like, it's when you get that, like, a shithead 13-year-old uploading his, like, Nazi Minecraft video where it's, like, the tour of his Auschwitz Minecraft world or whatever. Like, Mojang would be able to take that down using their copyright. But at the same time, there is a lot of scenarios where this could be expanded to, like, they could just shut down 2B2T with this policy as well. All server owners are obligated to add a disclaimer saying not an official Minecraft product slash service slash event slash etc. not approved by or associated with Mojang or Microsoft on their websites. This is misrepresented. What's actually the case here is that people trying to host non-official events cannot use Minecraft's official branding as like a way of bringing people to it, right? Or as the primary way. So if you want to release a Minecraft book, it has to be like a Minecraft story as the subtitle, not Minecraft as the main title. I think this one's fairly reasonable. It's made to prevent like scammers and grifters from taking advantage of younger or older, more naive Minecraft players. Using Minecraft as a significant part of a creative work, such as a YouTube video, is no longer allowed. So, essentially what this means is that it's better to give an example of what wouldn't be allowed. Let's say, for example, you are a YouTuber who wants to do a Minecraft Let's Play that is a Patreon exclusive, as in your fans have to pay to your Patreon to gain access to your exclusive Minecraft Let's Play. That is no longer allowed. You cannot charge people for entrance. My system of verifying that people don't like fuck up the Minecraft servers I want to host, of having it so that people who've subbed or donated or gifted a sub on the site before are the ones who can join, that is no longer allowed, because that counts as charging people for entry to the server. Tons of content creators do this to make sure that trolls don't get onto their server to fuck things up while they're offline, and the mods are offline, and like ruining the player experience. Now that is no longer allowed. Any server or other thing that is Minecraft related is considered commercial under every circumstance, even if it does not make money. That's a massive stretch. That is not exactly what the Eula says. It's more so if you are marketing something, even if it doesn't make money, if you are marketing it and advertising it, it is considered commercial. If you are paying money to advertise it, that's what that actually meant in the Eula. That is a misrepresentation. In-person Minecraft events like LAN parties are no longer allowed to engage in sponsorships if said event is to make money. This is almost certainly going to shut down a lot of smaller Minecraft events, but this is specifically targeting smaller events that Mojang probably doesn't endorse. Overall, though, this seems weird. I wonder if Mojang doesn't want Keemstar hosting any big Minecraft events. Because for those of you guys that don't know, that big like Minecraft championship thing is hosted by Keemstar, or at least was for a while. And I have a feeling Mojang doesn't like that. Servers with any content not suitable for 10-year-olds, whatever that may be, are no longer allowed. All servers, entitlements, and advertising must be suitable for audience of all ages. For example, no gambling, pornography, violence, terrorism, explicit lyrics, or other unsafe/mature content, and that they don't harm the Minecraft brand. Minecraft is rated 10 and up. So, this is the one that's gotten people arguing, because they have very, very loosely worded this particular change in the Eula. It was Minecraft Monday, not MCC. I forget what it is. Listen, the Minecraft stuff is very broad. I'm not as tapped into modern Minecraft culture because I'm a Minecraft boomer, okay? At the end of this segment, I'll show you guys my Minecraft world, and you guys will see how much of a Minecraft boomer I am. Anyway, with that said, this is obviously pretty bad. The wording of it suggests that this only applies to advertising for servers, but that would affect 2B2T quite strongly. For example, you could consider FitMC's videos advertising for 2B2T, and there are quite a few videos in which you can see the chat, and it is quite toxic. A lot of videos about 2B2T streams and whatnot are about how toxic it is. Hell, like, one of the defenses I heard of this was saying, like, oh, this won't affect 2B2T. They just don't want it to be so that a kid can log into a Minecraft server and immediately see, like, a photorealistic, like, pixel art of a dick in front of them. And it's like, I don't know if you've played a lot of 2B2T or not, but one of the most popular things in the server are the nude map arts. There is a lot of map art hentai on 2B2T that is quite explicit. A lot of people would post them in front of streamers' screens to get them banned because it's like high-res pixel art of porn. That's been a thing on 2B for a while, so that would also be breaking this new rule. 2B2T breaks many of these rules in many different ways. Servers are obligated to have a terms of service clause before even joining the server for the first time, in a way that describes the content of the server and pricing of ranks, for example, if applicable. This is an over-exaggeration. It's for any server that it's in advertising that you're paying for. Where do I find 2B2T, Zan? No particular reason. 2b2t.org is the IP. 2b2t.org, all undercase. That is the IP. It's for Minecraft 1.12.2. Get a hacked client. Fictional story writers are not allowed to include Minecraft brands or assets like fonts or images for Minecraft-related works. This is not true. It just has to be a subtitle. It can't be like, you can't have Minecraft, then yada 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 for your specific branding. It has to be your specific branding, a Minecraft blank, right? If you want to include Minecraft in its branding. I think that's reasonable. Although this will most likely eliminate the existence of the Minecraft Bible. I need to get the Minecraft, I need to get the Bible Minecraft edition bought up before those are banned. Furthermore, they also proceed to state that they are now allowed to change the guidelines and that it's your responsibility to check them, which legally they are required to let us know about. Okay, so basically under EU laws, it is actually the responsibility of the company updating their end-user license agreement to make sure that their consumers know about those updated changes, not the other way around. But Mojang finished off the blog post by saying it's actually your responsibility to know about these updates, which is literally not legally the case. So Mojang, A, came off as massive cunts by saying that. It came off as super passive-aggressive and rude, in my opinion. And B, we're just outright legally wrong. And I think morally wrong, too. Like, that was just, like, a real douchey thing for them to finish it off with, in my opinion. This update officially shows that Mojang no longer cares for the community. That's an over-exaggeration, but I do think they care more for some parts of the community than they do others. I think they aren't a big fan of the Java community at this point. I think that the upper echelon of Mojang could honestly do with like Java Edition completely being left to like decay and everybody being forced to buy and move to Bedrock Edition where you have to pay for mods, texture packs, and skins and stuff. That's what Mojang wants. Engage with the game due to these guidelines, giving Mojang full control over shutting down years of hard work for any reason whatsoever. They don't even try to hide it anymore through loose wording, which is still present everywhere and would be, under certain cases, considered misleading in court due to EU contract laws. There is no good end to this post, because this is not good news. If it is not already clear, this update is not only a terrible precedent to future updates, but shows Mojang is taking after totalitarian companies that wish to have total control over everything without leaving space for creativity. I sincerely hope this is concerning enough to actually hopefully lead to a reversal. And that is the Reddit post that's gone pretty viral. Now here's the thing. Obviously, some things there were over-exaggerated and a bit of it was emotionally driven, but a lot of the things there were valid concerns, and there are some very significant portions of the currently existing Minecraft online multiplayer community that are now in genuine jeopardy now. And I think that's a pretty bad thing. I mean, seriously. Without 2B2T, that is a massive chunk of Minecraft's cultural impact taken away from it. And I think this just overall contributes to Mojang's lack of charm nowadays. Mojang comes off as a toxically positive company. Do you guys ever get that vibe? As, like, old Minecraft players in the chat, do you get the vibe that, like, Mojang is now brimming with toxic positivity in their public-facing engagement? Like, it feels like it's trying so hard to appear cute and innocent, but they're literally the company behind the creation of the biggest game in existence. Like, hold on. Let's go to the official Minecraft YouTube channel. If it even comes up. Can we, like, look at the last Minecon announcement? I still call it Minecon. I don't care. So if we look at the Minecraft YouTube channel's most recent uploads, you've got most of their uploads are literally either things about their other games or stuff about particularly Bedrock Edition, such as their skin packs and whatnot they release and charge people for. So for those that don't know, the actual moneymaker for Minecraft is this right here. It's stuff like this for Bedrock Edition that you have to pay for. There's an entire community of developers for mods and content on Bedrock Edition. And while, yes, the creators end up having a much better way of monetizing the content, it also means that the players have to pay. And Mojang gets money in the end. Mojang wishes they could get everybody playing Java moved onto Bedrock Edition, where mods are paid for. And they're like, they do branding deals like Fortnite does and shit. And it just feels very soulless and corporate compared to, like, the old school, like, almost like family project that Minecraft had very early on. But oh my god, they did an Incredibles DLC a month ago. Whoa! Pay money for the Incredibles DLC. You'll get copyrighted if you make this a mod for Java Edition, but it's licensed and you have to pay for it on Minecraft Bedrock. By the way, this wasn't made by, like, Mojang people or anything. This is made by fans, essentially commissioned by Mojang, and just made by fans. And you better believe, like, there's been conflict around whether or not Mojang is properly paying the people who work on these things. Not only that, but the Aether mod was straight up ripped and uploaded onto the Minecraft Marketplace. The Minecraft Marketplace has very low standards of, like, making sure this isn't just some rip of other content. So, for example, Aether Minecraft Marketplace rip. You guys remember when for months, someone who's now a literal Mojang employee now had their, like, mods straight up ripped and pushed as official content? This eventually got shut down, but I think has come back. The Ether dimension for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, for, like, I think it was $5 you had to pay. And it's literally like a ripoff of the Aether mod with some slight visual variation. But it's in Bedrock, and they charge money. Because you have to pay money for mods and skins and texture packs and adventure maps and worlds and all that stuff in Bedrock Edition. And that's what Mojang, they want everybody to be playing that. There's cross-platform, which is nice. It's got some nice quality of life changes, and it even runs better, which is nice. But also, they have a built-in marketplace system through which they can monetize the game beyond just game sales in Minecraft realms, which is what they really want. This makes my brain hurt. I know it makes your brain hurt, but we're getting to the important part. I think that this is going to spur another Minecraft Dark Age. I really do. And I really couldn't imagine a better time for another Minecraft Dark Age to happen. Because if you guys remember, a little game a while ago got announced, okay? Back in 2018, right before the end of the first Minecraft Dark Age, a game was announced that, honestly, the hype for this game might have played a pretty substantial part in reigniting the hype for Minecraft going into 2019, into Minecraft's big second golden age. And that is a game made by an indie team that came from the Hypixel Minecraft server that has now since become a subsidiary of Riot Games, being produced by a team that has gone from 12 people to now over 100, that now has literally billions of dollars, no doubt, at their disposal for creating this game. This has gone from an indie project to the next big AAA blockbuster coming in the future, and that is Hytale. Behold, those of you guys who don't know about this game, welcome to the hype train. Oh, I do, Darcel. Hytale devs have Zan's signature in their office. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're a very good dev team. They're very based, too, like, politically. Anyway, Hytale, the game that you just saw the trailer for, this trailer released back in late 2018, December 13th, 2018, and now has over 60 million views on YouTube. It is one of the most viewed trailers for a game of all time, period. It just simply is. Here's the thing, though. When that dropped, the game had like 12 people working on it, and it was an indie project. That trailer and the hype it got a ton of fucking attention from Riot Games. And so the game underwent a big old delay, which sucked. But on the bright side, they kept us up to date on their development. And just recently, they dropped a new blog post back in June about meeting at the Riot Games studio to organize playtesting. They also got all the devs together. This is not all of them, because many of them weren't able to come to LA, or was it San Diego? I forget where, for the Riot convention thing. But this is just like a large portion of the team now working on the game. They did a big group photo. And then on top of that, the game's also going into the like playtesting phase. They're getting it ready for launch. It's already been like pretty heavily hinted we'll get it in either 2024 or 2025 at the latest, but it's looking more likely than ever that we're probably going to get it in 2024. But I personally have taken the conservative bet of 2025, so I'm either pleasantly surprised by it coming out earlier, which is more likely, or if it does get like small, like slightly delayed to 2025, I end up looking like I was the more realistic one. Or I'm pleasantly surprised. Either way, I win. But yeah, the game, it's going well. It's being funded and like produced by one of the largest game companies in the world. It's not like a development hell gonna die out game like Cube World. A lot of people want to take that position because they are doomer and don't think that good things can exist, but as somebody who's watched a lot of games that were, like, I literally covered a fake game on my channel not too long ago. Like that day before game, I literally, like, did a video exposing a hyped up game that was very obviously, like, fake and a scam. And trust me, I know how to spot these things. Hytale's legit. Not to mention, I've literally, like, spoken to the dev team in particular, the company behind it, very loving of their fan base. They've, like, literally appeared on charity streams and stuff like that. It's fucking great. They're very like caring for the community that likes this game, and in fact, the community that is behind this game, or not behind this game, that loves this game is so dedicated to it that this music that you guys hear in the background of my streams was made by a friend of mine. This art was done by another friend of mine, and this is like this Hytale soundtrack, which they've already released a large portion of, not a large portion of, but at least like a few tracks from. This is part of the Hytale soundtrack remixed into lo-fi and put into a playlist with this fan art. This is a character from the game called Gaia. Hytale has a lore and, like, there's a story. The way that Hytale's going to work is there's an adventure mode, which has quests and a full storyline, a beginning, middle, and end and everything. But then there's a whole multiplayer mode, which can include mini games, mods, all that good stuff. So the game's going to ship with a base RPG sandbox, like, quest story mode built in, which is what I'm most excited for, to be fair, like at least on launch. And Gaia is one of the core characters that's going to center around. That's the lo-fi girl. Well, it's the lo-fi girl cosplaying Gaia. Okay, hold on. Gaia Hytale. I'll show you guys some official art. Here you go. Open image in new tab. I got, like, the worst, most pixelated image ever, but here you go. This is the godlike being that, as far as we can tell with the story, because they're keeping the story not spoiled, that we serve, or are, like, working for, or trying to save. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Vosh is gonna hate this game. I'm gonna make him play it. I've gotten him to look at the trailer years ago, and he's giving me shit about it not coming out yet, because the gaming community will, on one hand, complain about crunch time and workers not having the time to create a good game and being overworked by their employers to hit certain dates just to please investors and consumers. But then at the same time complain about a game getting delayed and like the dev team actually taking its time with it and having the freedom to release a game when it's done and not a buggy mess. And you literally will complain about either scenario, so they're just going with the one where they release a good game. That aside, Hytale came from the original Eula change that fucked over Hypixel and a ton of other Minecraft servers. That was the final straw for them, because already, like, it was very difficult for them to achieve what Hypixel wanted to be within Minecraft. Like, if you play Hypixel with what they've done with Minecraft and what they had to work with is insane. But they're still heavily limited, and what they say is they know what it's like to try to build a sandcastle in somebody else's sandbox that's trying to build their server in Minecraft. It's too limiting, it's old, it's outdated, it's, to be fair, poorly made on a base level. And so now they've made a bespoke engine with a multi-billion-dollar budget, with a AAA publisher backing them, and now a team of over 100 people who are extremely passionate and dedicated to the game, with all the money, time, and energy that they need, and all the space they need and freedom they need to make the best game possible. Listen, this is gonna be big, all right? I genuinely don't mind the naysayers at this point, because it's just gonna be funnier when the game drops and ends up being, like, the biggest thing of all time. Anyway, they also dropped another trailer, actually. I'm fine bringing this segment a little further. I'm down to extend this segment by showing the second trailer that they dropped. This one's from Riot's channel. This is the trailer that Riot released. It starts with the former Riot CEO. This Riot CEO you see in the trailer retired like last year or something. But the former Riot CEO talking about why he and the rest of Riot were so hyped to bring Hytale and Hypixel, the company making it, into the Riot fold. Because if you guys know Riot's like thing, they see a concept that is really popular but not being executed to its fullest potential, and then they find a team or do it themselves that executes that concept to its fullest potential. You may hate League of Legends, but you can't say League of Legends doesn't pull off the MOBA model the best. It's the best made MOBA. It just is. People who say that it's not are just trying to be contrarian. There's a reason why it's the most popular MOBA. Look at Valorant. Team shooters? It's currently like the most popular team shooter. They looked at CSGO and they looked at Overwatch and they were like, we could do that better. And they did it better. Team Fortress TFT or TFT. What I have Team Fortress or not Team Fortress Team Fight Tactics. That game's super fucking popular. Like, Riot's released a bunch of other League-related games that are popular. Hell, the out-of-game media that Riot releases, always bangers. Always big successes. Arcane? You guys remember Arcane? You guys remember League cinematics? Listen, Riot knows quality. The reasons why we hate Riot games are community-related. It's the toxicity and the experience of dealing with other players, not the mechanical functions of the games themselves, or like, the games themselves are fine, it's the communities that are the problem. The content itself that Riot releases is pretty damn fucking good, okay? Riot releases good content, and for big companies like that, they're in relatively little shit. They know content. They know good content when they see it, which is why when the Riot CEO and the higher-ups at Riot, the people who acquired this game upon seeing what a big success it could be, say that they believe in this project, I believe them. Because they believed in League. They believed in Valorant. And these are projects that have very much been world-shattering successes. Like, everybody knows what Valorant is. Everybody knows what League is. League of Legends tournaments fill out fucking stadiums. Bigger than, like, most like big sports stadiums here in America. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the second trailer they released like 2 years ago.
Writers come up with
year and a half ago?
Amazing ideas, sometimes crazy ideas. I wish we can do them all.
This is the old CEO of Riot.
But we can't focus on everything, and then sometimes we realize we're not necessarily the best studio to make these games. And that's kind of how I felt when I met Noxy and the team at Hypixel. They came up with a demo of Hytale, and I right away saw that we had something special. It was both familiar but also different. Different because it's a different game. It's a different genre than what we're used to. But familiar in the way they talk about the community, the way they're willing to challenge conventions, their dedication to one game, and their commitment.
League monetization is cancerous. You're probably not wrong, but I know so many people who play a lot of fucking League and have never spent a penny on it and have a ton of cosmetics. I'm pretty sure you can free-to-play a lot of cosmetics in League and free-to-play all the champions in League and everything.
Meant to make it better and better for years to come. That sounded very familiar to us, very Riot. And that's why we decided to partner with them and eventually have them join our family. I want you to know all about this, but I'm not the best person for this. So let me invite my friend Noxy to tell you about this journey.
Oh yeah, this game is being made and based in Northern Ireland. God, their studio is cozy as fuck. I like a cozy game studio. Oh, Richie Hane, thank you for the raid. Over on Twitch.
So the story of Hypixel is a story of a collective of Minecraft modders who shared a dream of going pro and having their own game someday.
Can we get some Noxy based in the chat?
Hypixel was very much driven in its ambition by the challenges that we faced as modders. So when we made the game, we knew that we were making the game for modders like ourselves. Since the announcement of the game and all the attention that we received afterwards, we started the process of making some pretty big changes on our path in order to ensure that we're going to meet our commitment to the players and realize their dream of what the game can be. It's pretty remarkable when you announce a trailer for the first time and, before the game is even out, you're getting fan art, you're getting tattoos, you're getting cosplays and props, subreddits are developing, and the community is just showing you so much love. It's a lot of pressure as well. So we knew that we started to need some help, and then entering into a partnership with Riot.
The Quebecs are the little tree people that you just saw, and they're one of the factions that you'll be able to either ally with or against in the adventure mode of the game. And they're one of the headline marketing mobs of the game. It's almost like Hytale's Creeper.
Just eventually logically made sense. League came from Dota, which was on Warcraft 3. And so Hytale has come from Hypixel, the server, which was on Minecraft. And so that story is pretty unusual in the industry. And so we felt like there was a lot of lessons that we could maybe learn and advice.
All of the biggest games came from a story like this. There was a game, and then there was a mod or a server for that game, and then they made a game from that concept. If done properly, all the best games come from that, process.
That we could get for that journey. And so we met them way before the trailer was announced. And even back then, before, we had proven that the audience was interested, Riot was interested. They supported us with advice and investment when we first established Hypixel Studios. And later when...
Oh yeah, if any of you play a Riot game, open up the launcher. Open up the Riot launcher. You'll see a Quebec on it. Riot's already started integrating Hytale into their marketing and their branding. The Quebec is on the Riot launcher. Hytale's not that far away, guys. The Quebec is on the Riot launcher. When you go to play League of Legends or TFT or whatever, you see one of these little guys from Hytale already there, along with the other characters. Riot is ready for this game to be a big goddamn deal. Can't wait to buy it. That's another big thing about why, I don't like the people saying this is like a scam or whatever, because the only people who've spent money on this game are Riot Games. They're the only ones who've invested any money into this. You can't pre-order this game. There's not going to be pre-orders or pre-buying or early support. They haven't taken any money from the community. It's just been, here's a trailer, get hyped for the game. If it comes out and you want it, you can buy it. And it'll be ready when it's ready, is what they've said. That's not what scam games do. They do early access for years and just wring every last bit of money they can out of their player base. I've been through that lesson before when I was 13 and I bought DayZ standalone. Trust me, I learned the hard way.
We became part of Riot Games in 2020. So that's enough of the context. Here to tell you more about the game itself is Sean McCafferty, our COO.
In Hytale, you create an avatar and set out to leave your mark on an immersive fantasy world. As an avatar, you have the power to reshape yourself and the world. We want to make expressing your creativity feel like magic.
Listen, guys, I know many of you in chat in real life, if I could describe the style that you go for with your haircuts and your clothing, it would probably be gay, right? Pretty gay. Your style is accommodated in this game's character creation, okay? They do Pride Month posts where they have the very common LGBT hairstyles and clothing and fashion and stuff, and it's there. You will be able to represent yourself in this game, okay? Another big thing big thing I've noticed about this game, all right? You probably won't have noticed this as much if you're a non-politically oriented white gamer, but if you've tried to make a black character in a character creation system in a game, let's say you wanted to play a particular black character from a game or a movie or something, and you were trying to recreate that character in the game, upon getting to the hairstyle selection, you may find your choices are not quite acceptable in many, many, many games. I did a segment like this last stream. It's a very common issue. I remember, who remembers the clip when I tried to create the Idris Elba take of the gunslinger from the Dark Tower in my Fallout New Vegas playthrough, and I went to the hair section and was like, oh, Oh no, this game came out in 2010. Oh no, like you guys remember that moment, right? Don't be racist, Heavy Gretel, but enjoy those noodles. Yeah, that was a good moment. That was a good learning moment for me. This game and its character creation is very in depth, and from what I can tell, the variety of like hairstyles and stuff is not going to leave any group of people wanting for physical representation within the game. At least from what I've seen, it's been very extensive in what they've showed off.
And to take everything we love about the block game genre and combine it with our favourite parts of classic fantasy RPGs. You'll go on adventures in a world called Orbis. Here you have the freedom to craft, build, explore, and take on challenges with your friends. Our goal is to build a world that feels immersive and inviting no matter what you choose to do. Beyond Orbis, you'll have the opportunity to compete and express yourself through minigames and other forms of social play.
This is all in-game footage.
No matter what you and your friends are up to, we want to make sure that you'll be able to come together, hang
You're about to see what PvP looks like in this game. So much like Final Fantasy XIV, classes in this game are based on what weapons you have equipped, and so you're about to see a heavy hammer-wielding class versus a dagger-wielding class. Obviously, there's weapon, like, tier progression, because, like, you start out, like, if you like to wield a big hammer, you're going to start out with, like, a stick with a big rock tied to it, is basically the first hammer from what we can tell, and you'll, like, raid dungeons and do different, like, quest content to unlock better shit. This is, like, a later into the game piece of gear. But you're going to see two different classes using their abilities and stuff in PvP, because this game has actual abilities that you charge up and use, and, like, ultimate abilities and stuff. So watch this.
out,
There are
share
mages.
experiences.
There are multiple different types of mages from what we can tell. There are mages that wield wands, mages that wield staffs, and mages that wield spell books. And from what we can tell, they play differently. So that's interesting as fuck.
And establish your own identity.
There's also archers. Here's the combat.
Underpinning all of this is a set of tools that are intended to help creators undertake the same sort of journey that we have. These range from advanced block building tools.
Yeah, this is less so Minecraft 2 and more so Terraria 2. I like that Zan described the hairstyle options as gay. There's a certain point where, like, you become woke enough that, like, you start... It's like a bell curve of wokeness. Or not a bell curve of wokeness. A horseshoe curve of wokeness, sorry. Where, like, at a certain point you become so woke that you realize certain things that seem problematic aren't as problematic as they seem on the surface. It's true. Some haircuts are just gay, and it's not problematic to say that. Eventually you become woke enough that that becomes a realization.
To an in-game modding interface that lets you reconfigure gameplay itself. We intend to empower you to create everything from new creatures to whole new game modes.
Yeah, as long as
Our
it's not
goal
an
with
insult.
these tools is to both empower the existing modding community and clear the way for a generation of new creators. We want to pave the way from creative play, expressing yourself with all the freedom the blogs provide, all the way to Creative Pro, making mods and sharing them with the community.
So Hytale is a very ambitious game, but with Riot's support and some of the resources that we've been able to unlock, we now feel like we're moving in the correct direction to meet that ambition. We've been able to expand our team. We're hiring, developers that I used to grow up playing their games. We've been able to set up our own office instead of being 100% remote. We now get supported by the office. We're hugely grateful for the support of our community and especially a lot of the fan artists. So we've decorated.
I know many of the people who've made the fan art that is up on the walls, but they have literally lined the walls of their office with fan art that people have posted on Twitter. We do a yearly charity stream, me and like a bunch of other Hytale people. We do a yearly charity stream to help like contribute to the Thankmas event that Jacksepticeye does. Like the money we raise goes to that. And the Hytale devs always show up to talk to us when we do that event. And we signed like a big thank you letter to the Hytale team and got it etched. Got it etched in steel, I believe, stainless steel. And if you look at the newest blog post, oh, well, I guess I can't open it in a new tab. But if you look at the newest blog post, tell me when you guys see it. Tell me when you see it. This is now up on the walls of the Hytale office. Do you see now why I specify the cultural difference between the Hytale team and community and the one with Minecraft and Mojang right now? Where it feels as though Mojang is almost at war with its own community, while Hytale and Hypixel seem to love their community and like nurture it regardless of how much negativity comes out towards them from some of the more impatient fans. It's a very stark difference, and that alone makes me more excited for the game, because it feels like this game's coming from better people. That's what it feels like to me. And this game came from the previous Eula change.
The walls of the office with that fan art.
In large part.
But most of all, we're confident now that the direction that we're being unlocked to move in is the direction that the community deserves Hytale to be. A game like this isn't something that you can sit down and write on a piece of paper and say, oh, we think this is a really great strategic opportunity as a studio. A game like this is a game that has to evolve a genre and move a community as a whole. And so we want to bring our Hypixel community into Hytale. We want to invite the wider games community, the Riot community,
watch this character.
a lot of different groups to come and experience this game with us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We made this game because we felt like this is what we wanted to make in our heart. And that's what Riot, I think, recognized, and that's why we partnered, is, you know, coming from the heart is how you make games that will move players.
Is my theme from Hytale? No. Just the background music I use for my streams is a Hytale Lo-Fi remix. So goddamn excited for this game. Expect me to do a full 24-hour ass stream when this game launches. You better expect it. Anyway, that game came from the desperation that the community had following the stringent guidelines that Mojang clamped down onto the community with these Eula changes after Microsoft got them. And these changes are coming from Mojang, not Microsoft. So don't say this is like a Microsoft issue. This is more so the changes after Microsoft acquired Mojang resulted in different people being in power whose decision-making is, I would argue, quite questionable. So, I genuinely think that this change to the Eula, even if the actual results are not as bad as expected, I think it's going to contribute to so much more extra disdain for Mojang from the community that it's just helping to pave the way for a game like Hytale to sweep Minecraft off its feet. The cave update was a big step in the right direction, despite how much Mojang fumbled the cave update with the delays and the like dropping it in pieces instead of just delay it and drop it all in one big piece, which is I think what people would have preferred in the long run. There's just a lot of reasons why Minecraft has a lot of issues. Another big one that I'm about to explain my sort of workaround solution to, is the fact that Minecraft is a game that at this point is just continuously updating and adding more features on top of a broken foundation. Minecraft's base code has been described as spaghetti code. And there's no way to fix that fundamentally. The solution was to make Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and they really hoped they could essentially make Java obsolete, and that eventually the idea of no longer supporting Java would not be like a controversial thing for them, but that didn't work. People don't like Bedrock Edition. If they can just play Java, they prefer that. The mods are free, texture packs are free, resource packs are free, skins are free, maps are free, mods are free, servers are free. You can run your own server for free. It's just people like Java. It's the original Minecraft. So people are not okay with that as a fix. Like, they didn't like that as a fix. So what ends up happening is the game keeps updating and updating, which means worse and worse performance with each update. It's a big part of why 2B2T can't update to past 1.12.2. And on top of that, it means that a bunch of old content for the mod becomes completely obsolete and outdated with each new update. And if there is not an active team of people or team of fans to do revivals, then these mods will literally fade into obscurity to the extent that they become literal lost media. The ore spawn mod, for example, I'm pretty sure is like unobtainable now or something like that because of some crazy shit that happened. Like, there's just so many classic Minecraft mods that are totally unobtainable now. However, thank God there is a community of people like me who are really nostalgic for old Minecraft and miss how it used to be. I think Minecraft was best at its most simple. Let me show you my Minecraft world that I play in private, like, you know, myself. This is Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 Mango Pack modded, and I've launched it through Multi-MC. I've got my streamed world here called Bong Water. But then I've got my own, like, personal world here that I play in my own free time. Let me show you what it just kind of feels like. Ooh, dog poops. I've got the Better Than Wolves mod on here, the Portals mod. What else do we have? Mo Creeps and Weirdos and Mo Creatures, Industrial Craft as well. So if I come downstairs, you can see I've got machines running. And I think I have... Yeah, I'm actively processing clay into bricks because in older Minecraft, the block selection is so few and far between that it actually makes you want to go out of your way to collect different blocks and use more block variety in your builds. Here's the windmill I made. This is a full-on functioning windmill. It's actually spinning, and that's powering using a bunch of joints, this millstone, which I can put a bunch of stuff in to process. I've got hemp growing here and wheat in my greenhouse, which you needed greenhouses back then because mobs would spawn and get inside of your crops and trample them otherwise. So you had to build a nice greenhouse. I've got my sugarcane coast. That's a boar from Mo Creatures. I've got what I'm currently working on here is a windmill place, like a windmill, or not a windmill, water wheel, like sawmill place. Over there, you've got some camels from Mo Creatures just spawning. Lots of different dolphins and sharks in the water. If I explored around, there'd be tons of different mobs from Mo Creatures and Mo Creeps and Weirdos. In fact, built into the game back then was photo mode. You could do this. Unironically, it even includes the different modded mobs that you can see here. Just a straight-up photo mode that lets you show a top-down view of your world. And this is my factory I'm working on. And I've got my Aether portal there, because the Aether mod is in here, and then my Nether/Twilight Forest portal. You have to hold a mushroom to go to the Twilight Forest when you go to the Nether portal. And it's just... I mean, I don't even think it's just the nostalgia goggles that makes this, like, feel so much more fun, and I feel so much more compelled to play and actually put time into the world. Like, I genuinely can't spend more than a few hours putting effort into a modern Minecraft world. I lose motivation so fast. But with this, despite there not even being a set ending, I still feel, well, technically there is, because the Aether mod adds bosses to kill, but, like, I feel compelled to just take my sweet-ass time building as much as I can on my way to getting to the Aether and beating the bosses there. It's a really well-made mod pack, by the way, Mango Pack, and one of the few but very... Oh, God, the boar's attacking. I got too close. One of the few but very, very nice features, or like projects made to preserve old Minecraft content. We got some Mo Creeps and Weirdos stuff here. If I can make it daytime, actually, I'll show off a little bit of, like, what the world around is like. Let me put this away. We'll equip a horse on a stick. These are a pretty rare item and mob to find in the world, but I can fly around and show you, like, look how populated and alive the world feels with different, like, creatures. We got some zebras. What else we got if I fly over here? Some sheep. Sheepy sheeps. Some areas feel empty, but then you'll fly around a little bit and hang out, and mobs start spawning because when you stay in an area for a while... Oh, wolves. We got some wolves over there. I need to actually get those when I log back into this world. There's a fox there. Ooh, a goo goat. I should kill this goo goat and see if it drops a goo donut so I can show you what it does. Old Minecraft was so basic and just fundamentally just a basic game that any mod you added didn't do anything to break the game in any way. It just felt like it complemented base, vanilla Minecraft. Like that goo goat gives me an item that lets me do this. I don't think this is too overpowered. Those goo goats are rare and put up a hell of a fight if you let them hit you. And it just feels so... It feels like this could be a vanilla item. That's what it felt like. Old Minecraft mods fit the game so well because the game was so basic at the time and such a, clean slate for people to work with mods that when people built Aether portals thinking it was going to work and take them to the Aether because they'd never thought that's a mod. Like, it's literally a meme that people would go to the Aether, or try to go to the Aether in vanilla Minecraft because they thought it was a real update that they missed. That's how a lot of mods were back then. People thought Herobrine was an update to the game, maybe, that they just missed. So yeah, I feel like Minecraft, in so many ways, is so distinctly different now, in a lot of bad ways. I feel like Minecraft's early on simplicity actually helped it. But now, with each new update, a bunch of mods become outdated. And if they don't have devs actively updating them, then they're fucked now. They no longer... you have to go download an old version and set up an older Minecraft version just to play them. And it's almost like Minecraft would be better off, at least the Java edition would be, if they just stopped updating it past 1.20. And they just let the modding community have at it. That would actually be better than continuously updating the game with these pithy updates that break all of the community-made content. And of course, people have been literally begging for a mod API for so goddamn long that Mojang finally responded with, instead of saying they'll get to it eventually, they finally responded by saying, no, we do not support user-generated content that is not backed officially by the Minecraft marketplace. So basically, if Mojang can't monetize it, they don't want to support it, which is why we'll never get a modding API, because it's just a system that would be used to make free mods for the player base. So you guys remember that Yogscast song? Where's the mod API? Who remembers this old thing? 9 years ago. 9 years ago. From the Yogscast. 3.6 million views. 9 years ago.
Hey, Mr. Dinnerbone tells us regularly, says he's got a glint in his eye. But we've yet to see, guess he's too busy, promised long ago, just don't deny. Yes, I know it's tough, but we've had enough, where's the modding API?
This is 9 years old. People were fed the fuck up 9 years ago.
I can't make it work, mods have silly quirks, drives me mad, I just want to cry. That is why I tweet, oh yes, yet again, where's the modding API? Optifine is now installed, but my game can't help but stall.
Who remembers when you had to use MC Patcher? That's all I need to say, is MC Patcher, and you motherfuckers know.
I could see things so clear, like mobs and buildings from over here.
Another mod installed, yes, another mod installed. More mods, many mods installed. Another mod installed, yes, another mod installed.
It's a good meme. People have literally been demanding the modding API and have been fed up for like a decade plus at this point. And Mojang finally just outright said it's never happening. Stop asking. Stop hoping. So, yeah, that's That's what we get from Mojang. So I really do think that this change, as horrible as it is and as upset about it as I am, as a Hytale waiter, a professional Hytale waiter, I honestly couldn't be more thrilled to know that when Hytale drops, which is now quite soon relatively, there will be maximum negative will towards Mojang and Minecraft, and a massive desire for a game that meets the potential that Minecraft has failed to meet for over a decade. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening from all of this, I suppose. Well, that was a good rant. I don't need to ask you guys if that was a good segment. I had nearly 500 viewers through a lot of that, and over 400 now, and I feel like that was one of my best Minecraft-related rant I've ever done. I feel like that was a great segment. Very good segment. I'm glad you guys liked it. I really put my heart into that one. That was not really prepared for at all, by the way. That was all off the cuff. Everything I said there was just me off the noggining my own knowledge that I've accumulated from playing Minecraft for over a decade. Like, of all topics to talk about, Minecraft is one I do not need to, like, do much research on. So I've got a lot to say. Heavy Gretel, thank you so much for the tier 1 gifted sub to Winby. Thank you, thank you. We always love a kind financial contribution from chat's favorite goth MILF. It says, whiteness be gone. Thank you for the white name genocide. Noel's H. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate it. Said 2012 was peak Minecraft. It was indeed. It really, really was. 2012 was unironically the peak. Right before 2013. Like that, basically the entire year was peak. Wait, Heavy Gretel's a goth MILF? Oh, yeah. Oh, I gotta pop my shoulder. Ah, very good. Alright, everybody. Are you guys ready for another segment? I think you guys are ready for another segment, but first...
Alrighty, folks.
I think it's time for us to chill out a little bit after that impassioned segment I just did. I went to a dispensary the other day, and they were burning some incense in there that just smelled mighty good. Like, usually when I burn incense, the stuff that I bought at a local store, it just burns my eyes and mouth whenever the smoke wafts towards my face, but the incense they were burning in that dispensary did no such thing. It just smelled very, very nice, regardless of whether or not the smoke was blowing in your face. Turns out I was buying cheap, crappy incense, so I bought some from this dispensary that, like, look at this shit. It almost looks like a good, finely keefed up blunt. So, this stuff's way better. It smells phenomenal. Oh my god, that smells good. And it's also just, it's vibalicious. So we're going to go ahead and light a little bit of this real fast. You can kind of move it around to get it to set fire a little faster. Then immediately blow it out so it's just smoking. And I put it over a bowl so the ashes don't fuck up my room. Ooh, it wasn't lit for long enough. Gotta relight it. There we go. That should be good. Nice. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the smoke. I guess not. Oh yeah, you guys can kind of see it. Right? Past the chat? Can you guys see the smoke? You will be able to see the smoke once it starts to fill the room. But it smells very nice, and it's a very calming effect it has on me. I like it. There's no weed in it, though. That would be cool, though, if it was like a weed incense thing, where, like, just burning it would, like, get you high from being in the room, and it would hotbox the room. That would be really cool. But it also smelled good. Xanderhall, make sure you're blowing your PC out on the regular if you burn that stuff frequently. I have not blowed out my PC in years, my friend. My PC is like basically like a junker barely making it to the grocery store and work each day, okay? Like, I'm desperately hoping on being able to replace this thing in like 6 months or so, by the time that the the 5000 series of RTX cards come out. Your landlord can't hear, but he can smell. My landlord doesn't mind if I smoke weed in here. I don't smoke weed, I just vape weed, but he doesn't mind. He was the one who was like, oh, by the way, there's a dispensary down the way. I was like, okay. He was also the one that said that psilocybin shrooms are in season if I want to get some of those. And I was like, I think I'll pass on that, but thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, my landlord's based. Yeah, as long as the apartment's in good shape, whatever, like the unit, not apartment, is in good shape when I move out, he doesn't mind. And he commented on the fact that I'm really quiet. I was like, you're deaf? And also, what other tenants did you have before that were making more noise than me? And enough noise that it was bothering you? Like, what? Who were the previous tenants? Like, how loud were they? Jesus. Like, that, like, I genuinely, I can't imagine being that loud. That's rude as hell. But yeah. Your landlord suggested shrooms? It was more so like an in-passing comment that if I wanted to get some psilocybin shrooms, I could harvest them in the area. And I was just like, it's not really my thing. And he was, and then he, like, told a story about trying it. I was like, yeah, my people in my family tend to get sick when they try it, so I'm gonna just not. I've never had a bad landlord who lived in the same building as their tenants. Yeah, like, the fact that I live, like, literally in the same house as my landlord means that if there's a problem with my unit, it's a problem with the house that he'd have to deal with too, so it's like any issues are pretty, like, actively dealt with. What are psilocybin shrooms? They're the magic mushrooms that make you high. It's psilocybin is the chemical in it that makes you trip balls. Same house? Yeah, the house is basically divided by floor. Like, there's an entrance area, and then there's two different locked doors. There's the door that's to the bottom part of the house, which is my landlord's section, and then there's stairs that go upstairs with my door, and I live in the top of the house. And, like, on the second floor, and it's like different units. It's like, it feels like it's an apartment building. Like, you have your own key and your own, like, amenities and everything, but it's just a house in, like, a residential neighborhood, which is really nice. Yeah, it's like a shared foyer. It's nice as fuck. I like it a lot. I got a good thing going here for the time being while I look for places to be more permanent in Seattle, and I really like it here. It's really nice. I've got a good landlord. My, like, rent prices are very reasonable for the area. I'm definitely going to be paying more when I find my permanent residence here. Yeah, it's just overall a really nice place to be staying in Seattle right after moving to the city. Hopefully your smoking doesn't set off the smoke alarms. There are no smoke alarms in... Well, there is a smoke alarm right the fuck there, actually. Right behind my head, you guys can see. It's never gone off, though. I'll definitely take the batteries out of that thing. Or not. Is that legal? Are you allowed to do that? If it's not legal to take the batteries out of a fire alarm, I'm definitely not going to do it. It's not. Maybe all landlords should have to live in the same building as their tenants like yours does. Sometimes it's nice to have your privacy. Vaping won't make a smoke alarm go off unless you blow right into it. Yeah, like, vaping probably won't do it, but the incense could. The incense definitely could if I burn too much. Alright. Are you guys ready for another segment? Remember, if you're watching right now and you want to support the stream, likes, comments, and donations on YouTube are always appreciated. Donations, subs, and gifted subs always help as well. And you can always support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, all those things, all linked in the description. But just being here and even just dropping a like for completely free really does go a long way, and I really do appreciate it to all of you. Thank you all very much. Now, you all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, everybody. So, Ben Shapiro recently went kind of viral, but in a negative way, because this very big movie that everybody's been talking about lately that I still haven't seen, Barbie, has hit the box office, and it's been one of those unfortunate scenarios where the right hitched themselves too strongly on shitting on a product that was inevitably going to be a success, and making the go woke, go broke claim about it, but not giving themselves enough room to flip on it upon realizing it was actually a big success and they can't win that battle. They did this with Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, for example. If you guys look back, a lot of right-wing pundits and grifters, such as the Critical Drinker guy, basically went after shows like House of the Dragon for having black people and stuff in it because that's woke and all that. And before it came out, the coverage of it was interesting. You see, before it came out, there was no saying how successful it was actually going to be, so it was more profitable to shit on it. But then, well, look at things like this. You've got Critical Drinker, Drinker's Chasers, Why Nobody Cares About House of the Dragon from 2 months before it dropped. And then it comes out, it ends up being HBO's biggest premiere ever. He tweeted, genuinely had no idea House of the Dragon had even started. There seems to be no buzz around it at all. Pretending like it wasn't big on the night of release, but then it ends up being too big to ignore. So he even goes back and changes the title of his old review of the trailer to just House of the Dragon trailer breakdown. Because they're all grifting cucks, okay? They're all grifting cucks. They don't actually care about any of the... They don't believe any of this shit. All the thumbnails and whatnot before the show dropped and was a massive success were things like this from Nerdrotic, another friend of that crew of people. And so, before the show dropped, before it was bad for them to go against it culturally, they shit on it mercilessly. But then it dropped, they realized they couldn't win a culture war against this massive success of a show, and so then they started attacking Rings of Power instead, and claimed House of the Dragon as a non-woke show that's actually good out of nowhere and just totally flipped on it. They couldn't pull that with Barbie. Now they have to take the full-on anti-Barbie direction despite its overwhelming success, and it's just made them look like fools. Notably, Ben Shapiro, who did a takedown review of Barbie that has gone viral for how bad it is. Everyone's been dunking on it. And because of that, Ben Shapiro has been compelled to make a video responding to people who've dunked on him on TikTok. So he's made this video, Ben Reacts to TikTok Haters. This came out just today. Let's see what's going on.
Alrighty, folks, today I'm going to be tortured by my producers with a bunch of haters on TikTok. And I'm very curious to see how much they hate me and why.
First clip.
Girl.
I like the zoomer editing because, you know, we're trying to appeal to younger people now that the right is essentially going to be made entirely what's the term for it? Inviable as a political group in America as Gen Z gets to voting age and gets to the age of actually gaining power over like our government. So they're trying to do the whole like how do you do fellow kids thing. Oh, Caveman Real H, thank you for the $5 super chat. You actually made a good point to add on to this. Shoe on Head, who as dumb as she is politically, is actually a very good businesswoman and knows how to do culture war shit. That's the one thing she's good at. Knew how to handle the Barbie thing. She made a video where instead of joining the rest of the right-wing fervor on attacking the Barbie movie for being woke, or playing as a lefty and defending the Barbie movie and saying it's not woke or it's woke and it's good, she instead did the actually Barbie is anti-woke move. She tried to make it so that she tried to basically have her cake and eat it too, and succeeded. She gets to have the benefit of not being anti-Barbie and being on the Barbie love train, right, for this movie that's extremely successful, while also pleasing people who are anti-woke and don't like woke shit in movies. It's a very good way of handling it, but Ben Shapiro did not handle it as smartly as Shoe on Head did.
Are you okay? You feel like it's a red flag?
Please, God, take me now.
Oh, babe. If you need help, let us know, because that's not it.
Okay, 4 red flags on this one. 1, nose piercing. 2, pink hair. 3, crazy eyelashes. And 4, sleeve.
And her nails go back.
Oh, that's like 5. Yeah, no, that's right.
Okay, so we're not actually going to have any arguments in this video. It's just gonna be blue hair pronouns comments. Do you guys remember when Ben Shapiro would do, like, debates? There was a time when Ben Shapiro was known as, like, the debate lord guy, because he would go to college campuses and debate clueless college kids who just knew there was some conservative pundit guy, like, saying trans people were bad on campus, and so they'd go there to try to, like, see what that's about, and maybe they'd grab the mic to argue against him. They didn't know who Ben Shapiro was. And so Ben Shapiro built a massive following off of being this debate lord with 18-year-old college students who were, like, nervously standing in a crowd of people jeering at them while Ben Shapiro makes the DreamWorks smile at them. But then, a couple years ago, things started to change. Ben Shapiro reached a level of success where people that I know started to ambush him at events. He did these public events at colleges, so people who knew who he is, know his game, and actually know, like, researched prior to the event the topics that he'd be debating, ambushed him in public and confronted him on his shit takes. It happened a couple times that went viral on Twitter. And after that, Ben Shapiro stopped even doing the college debate events. So, like, he's literally gone from only debating college students to stopping that because he got ambushed by people who knew what they were talking about, to doing videos where he would debunk arguments made by people who don't like him online, though very cherry-picked and, you know, selecting for, like, the weakest of the arguments, to now it's just, oh, look, pink hair pronouns, zoomy edits. I guess that's all you need to get Zoomers on board with conservatism, he thinks. Like, the reason why people like Andrew Tate are so successful with Zoomers is because they're successfully convincing these Zoomer young men that there is a real problem that he is offering a solution to. Ben Shapiro's content here is just like, maybe it'll get a fair amount of positivity from the Zoomer crowd because of the editing and the fact that it's shitting on pink-haired TikTokers, but outside of that, I don't think it's going to have much, like, convincing power compared to someone like, Andrew Tate.
Right, nails was another one. I'm never going to understand the mystery of life where women are capable of typing with those nails.
Or wiping.
So,
well, I wasn't going to go to wiping, but...
So is it just, like, super hardcore edits and no...
It rhymes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this video.
Okay. Next one.
What does make fun
Just
of
a
the
reminder
Zoomer
that
edits?
Ben Shapiro is a guy who claims that he cares about facts and logic and yet ignores every time a expert tells him that he's wrong, and claims that homosexuality is bad, not based on any facts or evidence, but based on a piece of paper that somebody wrote on in a time when people thought the earth was flat. Real logic.
That's actually not true. They didn't think the Earth was flat back then. We've known the Earth was round for a very long time. We used a method involving shadows and wells to pull that off, and we also did it with sticks. But yeah, we knew the Earth was round back then. But also, good point overall, but not the Earth flat thing.
Logical guy.
Devastating rebuttal.
Okay, so basically, the argument that person made there was completely accurate. We've literally seen Ben Shapiro in, like, that big debate audience at a college get confronted about him saying that, so Ben Shapiro's always claimed that facts don't care about your feelings, right? That he doesn't believe that trans women are women because science says that they are men. That is his, like, slogan, practically. So he got confronted with the fact that every major scientific institution, medical institution, psychology institution, etc., backs up and affirms the idea that A, gender and sex aren't the same thing, something Ben Shapiro disagrees with, B, that trans people's identities as they identify are valid insofar as gender is concerned, C, that gender transition is the best treatment there is, the best and only treatment there is for gender dysphoria. All of those things are backed up and solidified as basically law at this point by all of the consensus of scientific and medical institutions. He gets confronted by that fact, and his response is to say that woke propagandists and activists have pressured scientists and doctors into believing this and into saying this, and you can't trust them. That is his claim when you confront him on that fact. But when he's not confronted on this fact, he will go back to pretending as though there is this massive body of scientific and medical and psychological data that backs up his view that there is no distinction between sex and gender, that trans people are actually just mentally ill and their identities aren't valid. This does not exist. He's just pulling from an imaginary, non-tangible thing he's referring to and pretending exists. But when you confront him, he will literally go full conspiracy theory mode.
You were murdered. Ben Shapiro does not listen to all the experts I like. He listens to other experts sometimes.
Other experts. What he means by that are like doctors who have literally been disbarred, or what's the term for disbarred? Like they've had their medical license taken away and are literally like unanimously viewed as crackpots because they believe in like crystals and demons and shit. Who remembers when the right was getting behind this doctor? The woman I'm about to show you is an actual doctor, and the right loved this lady. Who remembers this?
The President of the United States is promoting disproven and potentially harmful medical treatments for COVID-19. And I know, look, it's not new, but in recent days, there's been talk among Houston who also believes that women...
So this is the Trump endorsed doctor.
What we call astra-sex. That means this person is not really a demon or Nephilim. It's just a human being that's a witch. And they astra project and sleep with people.
That's Dr.
That is not even close to the craziest thing that lady has said. Can we get some... Oh yeah, here it is. Here's the PragerU bit. This was posted by PragerU as like a positive... Like, Ben Shapiro endorses PragerU, by the way. This was posted by PragerU as a positive endorsement of this woman.
I came here to Washington, D.C. to tell America, nobody needs to get sick. This virus has a cure. It is called hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. I know people want to talk about mask. Hello? You don't need mask. There is a cure. I know they don't want to open schools. No, you don't need people to be locked down. There is prevention and there is a cure.
Now, keeping them honest, just medically...
She goes on to talk about the demons. Wait, where does she talk about the cum demons? No, hold on. We need the full clip of the cum demons. These are the doctors that they like to bring in.
Now to this story.
Here we go. I think this is good.
I'm Dr. Stella Emanuel. I'm a primary care physician in Houston, Texas.
This Houston woman now in national news thanks to COVID-19 claims like this.
There is a cure for COVID. It's called hydroxychloroquine. I know people want to talk about mask. Hello? You don't need mask.
Let's tackle the first claim. Our sources, infectious
no,
disease
the cum
expert
demons.
Dr. Peter Hotez,
the
and
cum
the
demons.
FDA.
Now we have multiple studies. Hydroxychloroquine has no proven benefit for either.
Also home to Firepower Ministries. That's a Christian ministry run by Dr. Emanuel. So yes, we can verify she's a real doctor. She does, however, have a history of outrageous claims, including that doctors make medicine using DNA from aliens.
Yeah, there it is.
COVID-19 videos have been taken off social media.
Demon aliens.
Dr. Emanuel tweeted demanding Facebook repost them, threatening Jesus will take down Facebook if they don't. With your Verify, I'm Marcelino.
Anyway, these are the people that like Ben Shapiro and other conservatives will reference as like backing up their claims. These are the experts you don't like, as Ben Shapiro likes to say. These people are widely shunned by the broader medical community for very good reason. There is a good reason why people are upset with Ben Shapiro for picking and choosing very dishonestly what experts he'll listen to in regards to these topics, when the overwhelming majority of them that are actually like verified, peer-reviewed, respectable, etc., believe the opposite of what Ben Shapiro believes. Not to mention, The dude's now astroturfed his own sister's YouTube career. Remember when he was paying, along with the Daily Wire's fucking budget, in order to get his sister, Abby Shapiro, into like the big conservative YouTube circuit? You couldn't escape ads for her videos, but now that she's, I guess, stopped because she's got a baby now or whatever, now it's just Ben Shapiro ads with like the cringiest shit ever. Have you seen that one ad thumbnail for Ben Shapiro's videos? Ben Shapiro. Who's seen this awful thumbnail? Oh, he changed it. Ben Shapiro changed the thumbnail because people made fun of it. No, it changes now. Guys, you're not going to believe this. Hold on. All right. So when you see the video on Google Images, it hasn't updated the initial video hasn't updated the thumbnail that he changed. So this was the original thumbnail that people were making fun of, where it's the thumbnail for the poster for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and they like edited Ben Shapiro's face onto there, and everybody was dunking on this video and this thumbnail, and he changed it to this, but it hasn't updated over Google Images yet. So when you click this thumbnail on Google Images, the image brought up becomes this, because the update hasn't gone through because Google fucking sucks. Why would he change it unless he was embarrassed about people dunking on the thumbnail? But that video and that thumbnail were being heavily pushed as an ad on YouTube, because like most of the success of these people is just bought and paid for.
When I say homosexuality is sinful, like the sinful, because this concept of sin is in the Bible. So yeah, that's the context. When he says bad, I don't know what he means by bad.
Is he trying to pretend like he doesn't think sin is bad? Is he going to try to pretend like he follows the hate the sin, not the sinner philosophy, when most of his content and his reputation is around as being as cruel as possible to those that he considers sinners, like trans people and gay people and stuff?
Other than the context of sinful, because, you know, again, there's like bad sushi, but that's not what we're talking about when we talk about particular human activity. If what we're talking about is societally useful, heterosexual relationships are more societally useful than homosexual relationships because they produce children. I don't even know what he means, and I'm not sure he knows what he means.
Well, that's not a case for why people should have a freedom to do a thing. The argument about why someone should have a freedom to do a thing, and if they shouldn't have a freedom to do a thing, is not if people have this freedom, then good things will happen. The argument should be if people have this freedom, then not like there won't be bad things happening, right? Right now, it is bad that LGBT people don't have this handful of freedoms that is growing by the day, considering the policies conservative states are passing. Hell, they just banned the teaching of AP psychology in Florida schools because the consensus among psychologists is that sex and gender aren't the same thing, and that is what is taught in AP psychology, and so this state outright banned the teaching of the class. And the only way it can come back is by removing any teaching of that topic from the class, but then that makes it non-valid for the college AP point. So you no longer get credit for taking the class if they do adapt it to follow Florida's laws against teaching gender theory, quote unquote. So yeah, these people are actively waging a battle against education and science while pretending like they're the logic bros the whole way through. It is genuinely pure to the core evil, and they know it.
He means.
And I'm pretty sure you don't use the Bible as a source of like debating.
Yes, I don't use the Bible as a source of debating, and thus, if you're asking me what
his worldview, so there is a difference between using the Bible as a source when debating, as in saying the Bible said this, so it is true, and your values and beliefs being taken from the Bible, and thus making you willing to lie and misrepresent anything to line up with what the Bible says is true, because no matter what the world tells you and what logic tells you, you have to have faith in the Bible and in your religion and in God, because anything that goes against that faith is just a test that God is giving you to test your faith. That's how they see it. Evidence that goes against their worldview is a test from God to test their faith.
Whether homosexuality is sinful, I will always say, yes, biblically it is sinful.
Yeah, but he smirked at the end of that video, so clearly he's right.
He did smirk. There was some smirking and bad grammar. Those
Really? Ben Shapiro is making that criticism? That someone smirking at the end of their comment doesn't add to their... Ben is doing that? The DreamWorks smile guy?
two things I noticed.
Ben Shapiro said the dumbest thing you'll ever hear about school shootings. Wham!
We're telling these teachers that it's better for them to jump in front of doors and block bullets with their body than to arm these same teachers so that they can actually defend the students. It makes zero sense.
There are more than just these two stupid options. Either you support teachers pathetically blocking doorways with their bullet-riddled corpses, or you support arming these teachers to defend against mass shootings. Which one is it going to be? How about we instead make it harder for people to obtain the guns used in these shootings to begin with?
Wow. Wow.
So basically, the argument being made there is right. Ben Shapiro and a lot of conservatives create a false dichotomy for Americans to deal with. What they want the average American to believe is that conservatives are pro-gun, and they are the only ones that are pro-gun, and lefties are anti-gun, and they're the anti-gun people. So no matter how much you agree with the left on, if you want to retain your Second Amendment right to bear arms, then you better vote Republican, because no matter how much shit you disagree with them on, they're the only ones fighting to keep your gun rights. And sadly, in a lot of cases, effectively, that is the case. Vosh yelled at me on stream because I disagreed with him about school shootings not being a big deal, lol. So, all right. When Vosh said that school shootings aren't a big deal, did he say school shootings aren't a big deal, or did he say school shootings aren't a big deal when you account for all of the overall gun homicide that happens in America? Because, yeah, mass shootings of all kinds are actually a pithy fucking tiny portion of gun homicide crime in America. Most gun homicide is committed with handguns. Most states that actually have sensible rules around what they restrict in regards to guns are mostly restricting handguns and not like assault weapons. No, it's what Zan said. Yeah, I know that's what he said because I know that Vosh isn't retarded. But here's the thing. I do believe in making it harder to obtain firearms. I don't agree with bans. That's what I'm against. I don't like the bans for attachments, for magazine capacities, for certain guns overall. I don't like banning guns. I like the idea of being able to go to a range, a controlled environment, and being able to shoot like military grade, high tier fucking weaponry. You know, maybe you shouldn't be able to own a tank, but maybe you should be able to go to a licensed like place where you can drive and shoot a tank in America. Like, I think that should be allowed, right? Stop using pithy wrong challenge. Wait, did I use pithy incorrectly? I feel like I used it correctly there. Regardless, like, I think that's completely reasonable. What I think America should do is instead of focusing on banning certain types of ammunition, magazines, attachments, guns, and so on, should instead focus on building a system for obtaining guns that is more reasonable. For example, Florida just got rid of the need to get a concealed carry permit to conceal carry your gun. As long as you are legally allowed to own a gun and you own a gun, you can conceal carry it in Florida now. And you can just straight up open carry if you're fishing or hunting or doing any recreational activity along those lines. And so, ban that shit, assault weapons, I mean? Why? Why should assault weapons be banned? What do you mean by assault weapon, by the way? Here's the funny thing. People who use that word always know nothing about guns, usually. Like, I'm not a gun expert by any means, but I typically know... I find I usually know more about guns than the people who say that shit. Here, let me think of a... Let me bring up an example of a firearm that I feel like people... Let me find the one I was thinking of. I'm blanking on the name of the gun at the moment. Fuck, how am I blanking on the name of this gun, and how's it not coming up as such a popular one? Oh, yeah. So. All right. If you show this gun to most anti-gun people, and you ask them, do you think this gun should be banned? So many of them will say no. Because look at it. It's not a scary-looking gun. It looks like Grandpappy's old hunting rifle. Sure, it's got a magazine there, but, you know, it sometimes you want to fit some rounds, right? But it looks like Grandpappy's old hunting rifle. Well, yeah, it's standard World War II. That's a World War II issue assault rifle, and it can go into full auto, and it can absolutely do much the same effect as, like, an AR-15. Actually more effective at, like, what a school shooter or a mass shooter would want to do than an AR-15. At least most AR-15s available in America now. Basically, the idea of being able to shoot super fast from a big magazine and do a mass shooting, as much of a worry as it is, realistically and borne out in reality, it is not the most common, like, occurrence. And when those do happen, those guns were usually obtained illegally, and banning those guns doesn't solve the obtaining illegally problem. However, if we make it so it is a very stringent process to obtain a gun in America, just like Canada has, for example, and Canada's gun violence is nothing, like literally nothing compared to America. Canada doesn't have a lot of gun bans. They ban some guns, but Canada's, like, gun bans are far less aggressive than my state. You know? Far less aggressive than my state. There are guns you can shoot in Canada you can't even shoot at a range here in Washington, okay? And yet Canada has, like, very little gun violence. No, that's not true, Zan. What part of it? Canada's gun violence being lesser than America's? My family is full of hunters, lol. Canada has guns. We just have pretty good control. Yeah, no, Canada has guns. Also, like, you can just put a stock and a foregrip on a pistol and you effectively have an AR-15, quote-unquote. Yeah, it's really stupid. The people who are against guns usually have never fired a gun. That's usually how it goes. Usually it's someone who's never fired a gun that is against guns. You take them, fire a gun, and then their world is fucking just rocked. Don't listen to chat, Zan, please. They're going to be stupid about guns. They always are. I know how stupid they are. Anyway. Canada has very stringent, like, process you have to go through to get a gun. Like, they not only do you have to get a license, but they also call up your exes and ask if they're afraid of you having a gun. So, like, they go deep. And they background check you daily as well. They run a daily background check on every gun owner in all of Canada. So if you so much as get a speeding ticket, they know. Which is a pretty damn effective way of catching at-risk people who own guns, right? Like, it's a pretty damn effective system. I'm in favor of systems like that here in America. I don't like the banning of shit. I don't like that, like, the AR-15s I shoot at my local range, the mags have had to be modified to take only a maximum of 10 rounds instead of the normal 30, because even in a controlled range setting, there's some arbitrary rule behind, yeah, you can only have 10 rounds in there. Like, it's like, okay, so you're punishing every legal, law-abiding gun owner by having to destroy their fingers by loading more often? Like, I'd like to be able to shoot 30 rounds out of the AR-15 downrange and then reload instead of having to shoot 10, reload, shoot 10, reload, shoot 10, reload. And if you think that's not a big deal, I know you've never shot a gun, because no one who's ever loaded a magazine before would ever say that's not a big deal. Sorry. Got a little emotional there. Anyway. Conservatives are making a false dichotomy between either being right wing and being fully anti or pro gun and anti any form of gun control and gun reform, and being like left wing and having to be fully anti gun across the board.
You mean that there are other, I didn't say those are the only two options. One option was better than the other option. There is a third option, but that's probably not the third option, because it turns out that we've been trying to make it tougher for school shooters to obtain their weapons, and it's been radically failing every step along the way.
Criminals mock society's laws.
And a third option, by the way.
I mean, it is true that if you just ban the guns, it doesn't work. The thing is, the problem right now is that there is a massive amount of effort and resources being dedicated, particularly by like the ATF and other like parts of the government made to investigate gun crime and like unlawful gun ownership, is being dedicated to like trying to find out if like otherwise completely legal law-abiding gun owners own like a 30-round magazine instead of the legally required 10-round magazine. Like if those resources were otherwise being dedicated to taking down organized criminal gangs that have lots of guns, or pursuing people who are massive red flags who own a lot of guns or own any guns, pursuing just the general criminal underground trade of firearms and obtaining those. Like if that effort was instead being focused on that, we'd see so much less criminal and violent just crime with guns, because the criminals wouldn't have the guns, and all that resources wouldn't be being spent on policing legal law-abiding gun owners.
Would be things like making...
And the things they're policing for are like, it's not like they're out looking for risky people. They're out there looking for people at ranges and stuff, and like who are uploading videos online who have small, tiny attachments on their guns that are technically a felony. And that's what they do. They pass laws that overnight make people felons. If you have this attachment on your gun, this tiny, if you don't have this little clip on your gun, for example, this tiny little, like, this little, not clip, this little, piece of metal, this little, like, it's like a little switch thing you put into it. If you don't have that, in a lot of states, felony and prison. Like, that is not what the ATF and our government should be focusing on in regards to legislating guns. That is a waste of time and a waste of resources. Actually pursuing illegal gun ownership, as in people who are criminals that want to do illegal shit with their guns, owning guns, that is what needs to be the top priority of these institutions.
Sure that people who have serious red flags in their past are involuntarily committed to mental institutions. That's not something that I see the left supporting either. And in fact, I've provided like entire lists of things I think can be done to help facilitate the end of school shootings. The point that I was making in that video is that if you're talking about what teachers in the situation...
By the way, for those of you guys who think that like taking away the guns is a solution to school shootings, there would just be a massive increase in school knifings. And I know that wouldn't be as massively like carnage, you know, causing as a school shooting, but it would still be a problem, and the core problem would still be there. Getting rid of the guns are not the problem. There are a lot of countries, even in Europe, that have a lot of fucking guns, even like guns that go full auto, like big brrr guns, right? And they don't have school shootings. They don't have mass shootings because the core problems that cause gun violence are accommodated for by other systems that the country has built up, such as free healthcare and very readily accessible and very, you know, up to date and accommodating, you know, mental health counseling. Like there's not a lot of untreated mental illness in countries where there's a lot of guns and not a lot of gun violence. It, like, the core of it is generally, usually a lot of the time, untreated mental illness, which isn't generally a problem when you've got robust mental health care that's free.
Situation can do. That's what we're talking about here. What can a teacher in the situation do? So here are the two scenarios. Teacher is unarmed or teacher is armed, but it's a teacher in the scenario. If you can tell me how the teacher can retroactively go back in time in a time machine and prevent the shooter from getting the gun, I'm up for that too. I just don't see how you're gonna make that happen. We'll get to more of these crazy ladies in just one second.
Sponsorship.
First, imagine that
show.
you go to a coffee shop and you open up your laptop and you're trying to read something good.
Done, which I guess is kind of par for the course.
Yeah, we always have to skip through the advertisements. There's always ads. Wait, what? Ben, maybe your editors didn't know this, but you've debated Neil deGrasse Tyson before on trans issues, and he washed you the fuck out. They included the Neil deGrasse Tyson meme when, like, one of the most notable things he's done is blow Ben Shapiro's back out in a debate about trans rights. Okay.
Ben said, quote, "School lunches are not going to solve the problem of child hunger," adding, "It does not take that much money to feed a child," which is entirely the point, Ben. We shouldn't let any kid go hungry. And free school lunch goes a long way in helping solve that problem.
Oh, yeah. This was when Ben Shapiro went against the idea of giving kids free school lunches. And I believe his logic at the time was it's not that expensive for parents to provide their kids a free lunch. And if they can't do that, then they're clearly not good parents and they're not fit for parenting. And it's like, okay, but that's not a solution. That's just a gotcha against poor parents. Okay, yeah, sure. They weren't prepared. Whatever. You got them. But what's your solution to the problem of kids going to school hungry? Because they come from households where they either don't have the time, money, or both to prepare lunches for their kids.
Problem.
No, it really, really doesn't. It really, really does not. Okay, if you're talking about child starvation in the United States, like kids who are radically malnourished, it's not because of school lunch availability or unavailability.
I'm just going to say right now, this is him trying to logic bro his way out of taking the anti-free school lunch side. The funny thing is, like, you'll get people who are like populist faux lefties who will say, how can someone be so evil as to be against school lunch for free for kids? And then, like, they don't believe Ben Shapiro is a demon. How many like so-called lefty populist types have you seen that'll like virtue signal about how evil it is to be against free school lunch for kids, but don't agree with calling Ben Shapiro evil?
It's because they're not getting food at home. Okay, the point that I was making is that school lunches, while they marginally may help kids nutritionally, also involve enormous amounts of waste, as anybody who has ever worked at a school will tell you. A huge percentage of that food ends up in the trash.
Wow, this is garbage.
If you actually want to help kids who are suffering from severe malnutrition, you have to look to their homes. Simply giving...
Okay. Saying that that giving free school lunches is not a all-in-one solution for kids not having access to readily accessible meals is not an argument against it. You're basically making the argument that we should be giving free school lunches and also providing... You guys know that you can't, like, get a hot meal with food stamps, right? You guys know that's part of, like how food stamps work. You're not allowed to get hot meals. The only reason they do that is to make poor people suffer. That's the only reason that's a stipulation of food stamps, that you can't get hot meals. Is because being able to go in and conveniently grab like a rotisserie chicken from like a Publix or whatever, or a Walmart, to bring home to your kids so you can like immediately plate a meal for your kids and then get to work on your on your night job, that would make life for poor people a little bit too easy. Little bit too easy. You gotta keep poor people down, so they do things such as that. Like, oh, okay, we'll give you food stamps so you're not literally starving to death. We still need living poor people to keep the underbelly of society running, but we're not going to allow you to have a hot meal. Like, your kids, like, you can buy, like, canned soup and you know, microwave that for your kids if you want them to have a hot meal. True, Ben's entire argument is, who cares about hungry children when you can punish poor people? Yeah, what he's advocating for is for, like, poor families to have their kids taken away from them, not for them to get any financial service, if that's not already very obvious.
Giving them lunch at school ain't going to do it.
According to the Shapiro standard, a coup is acceptable. When a government comes in and starts messing with the Supreme Court. Wait, that's what Netanyahu's doing in Israel.
So should there be a coup in Israel?
Should there be a coup? I mean, it's not my rule.
That's actually a really great point, Cenk.
That's literally what Netanyahu is doing.
And by the way, just to be clear, not in favor of coups under any circumstance.
No, it's not my rule. I don't want the coups, okay?
Yeah, a story today,
They're trolling Ben Shapiro. Fuck TYT, but still, this is a good clip.
Members of the Israeli Defense Forces have threatened to stop serving should Netanyahu get his way and weaken the country's Supreme Court?
I'm sure that Ben thinks that they should go further.
This is an old clip for those that don't know.
You don't know me. You don't. What is good? You don't know. You don't know me.
So first of all,
TYT's
let
not
me
the space
actually
anymore.
tell you what I said in the original quote. In the original quote, I said that there should not be a coup in Brazil. That was the question. Should there be a coup in Brazil? And I said, no, unless your rights are inherently unprotectable any other way than through a coup, then a coup is inappropriate. What would it take to justify an uprising to overthrow the government? What line would the government have to cross for you to support something like that?
Ben Shapiro supports the January 6th riots. He's made excuses for it and backed it up like every other conservative pundit has for years now. His standard is a coup for something that to get a person in power I agree with is good, but a coup to get somebody in power I don't agree with is bad. That is his standard. It is not that complicated.
Yeah. Well, the answer is that you could not actually achieve any of your rights by any other means. By any other means. By any other means. I would assume that there would be situations in which even Cenk and Anna are in favor of a coup. If Donald Trump took complete control of the United States military, dissolved the Supreme Court, and then decided that he was going to eviscerate the Bill of Rights, I assume they'd be in favor of a coup.
Well, that would be Trump doing a coup. So that wouldn't be coupping Trump. That would be fighting against his coup. That's... Wait, did he just say that would... Did he just kind of like quietly admit that he wouldn't see Trump doing that as a coup to begin with? That would be like Trump taking his rightful place in power? Because what he described was all the steps of a real, actual coup. Like taking control of the military, then overthrowing the sitting government and instilling yourself in power. Those steps he described Trump doing are an actual coup. And then he says, and so if we did a coup to get Trump out of power, would you be against that? It's like, well, no, because that wouldn't be a coup. That would just be fighting against the coup that Trump is doing in this hypothetical. What? The logic of this, by the way, is like saying, okay, I'm against shooting people unless it's absolutely necessary. Like, for example, if you have to shoot someone because they're going to shoot you if you shoot them. I can't keep the analogy straight. Never mind. Basically, it's like arguing that you wouldn't be justified in shooting someone who shot you. I don't know. His logic's stupid and I'm stoned, okay? Even my stoned brain can't get down to Ben's level. Let me get a little more weed in me and maybe I can handle it.
If I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are pleasuring the animal.
And so obviously everybody has limits in which
never been a fan of TYT.
They say that a coup would be appropriate. So when they say they're never in favor of a coup, that's obviously untrue. It's not true. As far as the situation with Netanyahu and Israel, Israel does not have a written constitution. The situation in Israel is completely different than the situation in Honduras. In Honduras, the president...
Oh, shit. We just got the situation is completely different response. If someone says in regards to a discussion of foreign policy, essentially leaving their argument at it's a completely different situation when someone compares two extremely comparable situations, then they're just full of shit. Tankies make that same response when you compare what's happening in Ukraine to like any other form of imperialist nation invading another country to try to annex their territory. It's not the same. It's not the same, but it is the same.
President of Honduras decided to basically dissolve the Supreme Court entirely and simply declare that he was going to be the sole ruler of the country. That is not remotely what is happening in Israel. It's amazing.
Right? Raise your hand if you breathe air.
But seriously, Ben, we got to get this impersonation like a little more on point here, okay? First of all, you're getting too squealy and you're getting too happy. Kamala starts off deep. She starts off deep and low and slow. So it's something like... You know what I mean? Like she goes into the maniac.
Wait, this isn't like a hate post. This could even be a pro Ben Shapiro person.
She goes into it. She's not born with.
Is this person like bad because the hair or something, or the makeup? Like, what's wrong with this
Try again.
person?
And then she throws hands in. So you see how that first clip that I stitched, she was like, her hands were kind of flailing at the same time. So she was like, something like that. Try it again. I want to see.
It's a very good critique. And in fact, I've seen this one before, and I've tried to work it in to say. AI is 2 letters, and it stands for artificial intelligence.
We're going to finish the segment off right there, because I think leaving you all with that, like, burning feeling of cringe deep inside of your core, like your heart, you know that muscle that constrains on your heart whenever you're stressed out, that makes it hard to breathe and it feels like you're having a heart attack? That muscle is currently contracting right now because of the cringe, and it's like on fire. And I feel like there's no better feeling for you guys to be experiencing to end the segment off on than that, you know? Always good to leave people coming out of my videos with the feeling of deep distaste. Oh, God, Ben Shapiro is stupid. How do you guys like that segment? You guys think it came out good? I think it came out good. I think it cummed out real good. Thanks for the raid, Tipster. Coke77, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Said Publix mentioned? Yeah, I grew up in Florida. Guys, when I visit Florida in 6 weeks, which is what I'm going to be doing in 6 weeks, visiting Florida. When I visit Florida in 6 weeks, I'm going to be able to eat a Publix chicken tender sub again for the first time in years. And then I'm going to go to the freezer and I'm going to eat like 2 pounds of steamed freezer shrimp. From the, not freezer shrimp, they're fresh shrimp straight off the boat, but fresh steamed shrimp from the freezer. It's a restaurant that's phenomenal in the Homosassa area. I'm going to go to the water park I worked at when I was 16 and see what's changed and what it's like. Have a little bit of fun going down the slides. Meet up with a few of my friends. Zan, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. What's that roundabout? Yeah, I'm returning to take Florida back. Oh, okay. Roundabout, I know what you meant now. Hold on, I thought about it for a second, and I know what you meant by I have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. I got that. I'm high, so it took me a minute, but I got it. Hey, chat. Who here likes video games? And who here likes the idea of playing video games with me, their favorite streamer? Well, Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMO, has a free trial that is completely free as far as the amount of time that you play and lets you play all the way up to level 80 and to the end of the Stormblood expansion. Just completely for free, no payment info required. And I have been building, or have built, quite the insanely massive guild / free company in Final Fantasy XIV. I've been playing it pretty hardcore for a couple months now. I just finished Crystal Tower last night, so I am now eeping my way up to the end of Realm Reborn and getting into Heavensward. And the free company is doing really well. We've got a lot of people in there, but more people are always, always, always welcome. So I encourage as many of you who even have the slightest bit of interest of getting into the game as possible to consider joining the Discord for the free company, because it is dope as fuck. We call ourselves the Soul Strikers, and every member is mandated to have Striker as their last name. That is the only rule. You can have whatever first name in game you want, but your last name has to be Striker. Trust me, it's all part of a grand vision, all right? It all comes together really nicely when you have a big raid of guildies together and we all have the same last name, especially when there's like a few randos that join the group and they're like, what the fuck? Because they're like, what is going on? We've already gained quite the reputation for our numbers and the fact that we just have so many people and all of them have the same last name. It's really cool for roleplay purposes too, and like we've gained a reputation for it. We're on the Marlborough server on the Crystal data center. So yeah. Also, make sure to send me a friend request when you make your character and get on, because I want to accept it. It's easier to like, accept your friend requests when I get online instead of having to wait for all of you to be online to send them to you so you can accept them. So if you can, try to send a friend request to me. But I'm going to drop the link now, once again, in the chat. Please consider joining. There are the links. Get in there. I want to see a lot of you join. I want to see a cavalcade of sorts of people joining. Only 2? Come on. I know we've got more than that. Or sorry, only 1. Come on, guys, get in there. Hell yeah, I see you guys trickling in. I will be getting on Final Fantasy XIV tonight. I'll be getting on tonight, and for those of you guys concerned that, like, it's too late to get in, the way that Final Fantasy XIV is made is that, like, if I go back into the content to play with someone who just joined, the game rewards me with a currency I can use that I really need, by the way, to buy good-ass later game gear that's, like, to level for me. So all of the players in the server that are in the server and in the guild that are in later content, if you ask for help to get through a dungeon or a raid or anything, they will help you because they want to get that special currency they get for helping a new player. And the more new players they help, the more currency they get. And all the old content's still relevant and playable. You play from beginning to end, from the start of the first expansion through the full storyline and all the content, then through the second, all the storyline and content, then through the third, then the fourth, and then onward until you get to the end of Endwalker. And then they just announced the new expansion that'll be coming out next year, so we've got a bit to catch up, which will be Dawn Trail. And I'm not going to spoil anything about it. I don't recommend you spoil yourself on this story, but I'm trying to catch the fuck up so that I'll be at level and caught up for Dawn Trail when it drops, and me and as many people in the free company as possible can all experience the expansion launch together on the day of. The story is great. The story is literally, like, award-winning. Like, literally, it's won, like, the expansions have won awards for how good the story and writing are. There's a lot of, like, really good cutscenes and shit. It's really good. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Definitely recommend getting into it. Am I enjoying the story? It's starting to really get good now. I'm in the post-patch of Realm Reborn, and I just beat Crystal Tower, so I'm getting to the point now where there's a lot of voiced cutscenes now, but I know that once I get into Heaven's Word, that's when the production value of the game and the cutscenes and the voice dialogue and everything and the music and everything just goes from, like, 10 to 100, and it just keeps getting better from there. Yeah, I know all the voice actors get upgraded. Like, they change out the voice actors for much better ones in Realm, or not Realm Reborn, in Heaven's Word, I know. So yeah. Realm Reborn is like a prologue. It's like your backstory and the backstory of your friends and your, like, companions, is my understanding. It's like how you get to know them. And then the real adventure starts with Heaven's Word. Like, you become acquainted with all of the important characters at that point, and now it's for shit that makes you go, whoa, to start happening. That's my general understanding. Like, I've been in call while my friends are playing it, and I've heard them crying. So it's like, the story's good, is my best understanding. Oh yeah, every time a new expansion of FF14 drops, they include a whole new expansion of content in the new, in the free trial. And the free trial is a real free trial, as in, go download the game's free trial launcher, make an account, and play it up until you hit that wall of, like, hundreds of hours in, and then you can put in your payment info and get it. They don't even require you to, like, add your card or anything. It's not like Netflix or whatever. It's like free trial. Not one of those fake free trials like a lot of streaming services do. What's the cost once you hit level 80? It's like $12 a month for a subscription, but you can up your sub. I upped my sub to $15 a month to get an extra third retainer for my storage and stuff like that. Directly from Square Enix, right? Not Steam, because Steam doesn't have a true free trial. Do not get it from Steam. You want to get it from the Square Enix website, and I recommend you ask people in the Discord server for Soul Strikers for the link, because you have to get a particular download of the launcher. You have to get the free trial launcher, or it won't let you log in. Because when you make an account that's a free trial account that hasn't paid, you have to log in through the free trial launcher, which you download from a different place than the normal paid version launcher. And then once you get the paid version, you want to switch to the paid version launcher and get rid of the free trial launcher you're using. It's a little complicated, but for literally hundreds of hours of free content that you can play with your friends with like little restriction, and it's like an award-winning story that you get for free, and like hundreds of hours of content you get for free, it's like, can't be mad, right? Anyway, consider joining. A lot of people joining. Come on, let's get more in there. I'm going to drop the link again. I'm going to drop the link one more time. Get in here. Join. Join Soul Strikers. Oh, apparently the complete edition of the game with like a bunch of stuff included goes on sale really often for pretty cheap, and that includes game time, like months of game time. So if you get that, then you can go months without paying as well if you want to just go right out the gate with the paid version. Playing FF14 now while listening, it's fun playing it again. There you go. People are already playing FF14 while listening to stream. I imagine you guys feel very good right now as I puff up the game that you're playing. Melissa Silvest, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says pub gang gang. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hell yeah. Fuck it, I'll download it. I'm in the Discord, but have been busy, and I'm off work today. Hell yeah. I love seeing lots of people join. Let's go. I guarantee a lot of you are going to get heavily addicted to the game, and it's going to be very good. I'm thinking about, like, streaming, or at the very least recording my reaction to finishing Realm Reborn and watching the Heavensward cutscene. Apparently the Heavensward cutscene will literally make me, like, freak out. Like, apparently everybody's reaction... so there's something you can get called the story skip that lets you skip to the end of a Realm Reborn, and immediately you get the Heavensward cutscene, and everyone says that if everyone who got the story skip says upon watching the Realm Reborn cutscene, they immediately regretted getting the story skip for, the Heavensward cutscene. They immediately regretted getting the story skip through a Realm Reborn. So a Realm Reborn can be a little sloggy. It's not bad or anything. It's just, you know, not as... You're gonna be like, when's the award-winning shit start happening? Yeah, you get through Realm Reborn, that's the prologue, and then consider that the tutorial. And now you're in, like, literally one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, that's just the overwhelming consensus. Yeah, no, don't skip cutscenes. Exoskeletal Patchwork, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Said, YouTube link, did you see why I messed it a segment on the Critical Drinker? It's a long video, so IDK if you'd want to react on stream, but I thought you might like to see it. Oh, thank you for that link. I'll definitely check it out off stream. I really appreciate it. You should be on the first leg of Pre-Heavensward? Yeah, I am. I just finished Crystal Tower last night. I did World of Darkness with my friends, and it was quite fun. Running raids and dungeons with a group of friends in Discord is so fucking fun. And, like, queuing up for a raid or a dungeon or anything takes, like, seconds. It's rare that it takes more than a moment to queue in and be in a dungeon or a raid when you need to do one for the story. Unlike WoW, where you, like, might literally have to wait for hours to do a heroic. Yeah, skipping cutscenes in Final Fantasy XIV is, like, sinful among the community. Like, people will not like that if they see you're a new player doing that. They'll be like, no, you're ruining it. You could also do that with public matches if you play tank, though. Tank privilege, true. Skipping cutscenes in FF14 should be a hate crime, true. Wait, for real? That was one of my biggest things I disliked about WoW? Hell yeah. I will once again post a link to the Soul Strikers Discord. Should I put on a video about why FF14 is so great? And then, and this can be our shill segment for FF14 so I can get more people in the free company? Jesse Cox did a fantastic video. It's a bit long, but we'll just watch a minute of it, okay? We'll watch just a minute of it.
The last few weeks, I've started to notice a lot of familiar faces from the World of Warcraft community taking another look at Final Fantasy XIV. So today, I want to talk about the differences between these two games, that while sharing many similar concepts, diverge in their execution of the MMO genre. As a fan of both games and 15-year veteran of WoW, I've often thought about this subject as I now play through Final Fantasy XIV on a near-daily basis since August of last year. I frequently get asked to compare the two, and the simplest way I've been able to do so is the following. World of Warcraft is an MMORPG, while Final Fantasy XIV is an RPG MMO. What does this mean besides hopefully sounding clever? In Final Fantasy XIV, the entire creative process, the direction, the core concepts, all of it are approached from an intrinsically different design philosophy than that of Warcraft. So it doesn't mean you can't enjoy both, it just means they're made for two very different gamers. Let me explain. I think most people have an understanding of what an MMORPG is beyond any sort of definition. There are expectations as to what that experience will be, which is why after playing Final Fantasy XIV, I've come to call it an RPG MMO. Because while all the multiplayer elements are there, I believe they aren't entirely necessary. If the MMO were removed and all we were left with was the RPG, the story, the music, the gameplay, it feels like the player would still have a complete experience. This is because
basically, you're playing an award-winning JRPG that exists inside of an MMO world with a massive amount of care and detail put into multiplayer interaction experience. The game has a housing system, and we're currently trying to raise 50 million gil so that we can enter the raffle, because there's a set amount of houses. They're physical places in the capital cities, and there's a set amount of houses, and so we're raising 50 million gil to get into the raffle to get a big fucking house so that we can turn it into, one, a gil-making source, but also to have like an actual guild house. And that requires a lot of people working different jobs and professions in order to make money. How many more segments do I have? One more after this.
The team behind Final Fantasy XIV, from its inception, has put its focus squarely on storytelling. This design choice then influences every other aspect of the game, from characters to world building to music to animation, all serve to enhance the storytelling. It is without a doubt the single most vital aspect of Final Fantasy XIV. Everything comes from the story, everything is related to the story, and everything exists to service the story. So as we move forward in this video, you'll see every time I bring up a comparison or idea in Final Fantasy XIV, it's going to be in some way related to the story. And it's because of this one fact that Final Fantasy and WoW can still feel similar to a player moving between the two.
Do you think you could raid me tonight, please? Yeah, sure, Pillow.
But also be vastly different experiences. Let me just throw this out there.
Anyway, I think that gets the point across to you guys. I am once again dropping a link to the Free Company Discord server in the chat. Go join. Join it now. I'm reading the chat. Hell yeah, more people joining. We love it. We love it. Keep going in there. I seriously want a lot of people to join. I want to make the biggest free company in FF14 history. I think we can pull it off. I think we could do it. If we put our minds together, we put our heads together, we can pull it off. Anyway, let's get on to the next segment. But first, I'm going to take a pee break. But first, I'm going to get the next segment up, and then I'm going to take the pee break. All right. I will be right back, guys. Oh, by the way, if you're concerned about performance, FF14 runs, like, really well. It's really well optimized, and I run it on max settings. If you turn down the settings, then you're guaranteed to run it even on the shittiest of laptops. So if that's what's stopping you, don't worry about that. People literally play this in, like, 12-year-old junker laptops. You're right, I do need to take lessons from the Amazon employees. I should just be pissing in a bottle. Hell, I should just piss my pants while I'm streaming, frankly. How dare I use the bathroom? How dare I relieve my bladder? If this was Hassan, we would get 20 minutes of him munching food without muting his mic. He would play segment videos while away. Unironically, yeah. The best Final Fantasy games, you read the voices yourself, it adds to the fun. All I need to do is like get really into shape or become a femboy, and I'll be like eye candy enough that I can do Hassan style content where I just sit there and react to stuff and like be attractive on screen, and that's it. That's all there is. Like, I actually do think Hassan is effectively the male version of a booby streamer. Quote me on that. Yeah. Actually, Finster's the male version of a booby streamer, but, you know, yeah. I would love to do a collab with Finster. That would be funny as fuck. I've discovered who Finster was from PKA. When Finster went on PKA, and then I found out Finster's friends with Keffels. So I definitely think that could be like a collab we could pull off. But I think Funster. I think Finster's funny as hell. If you haven't seen him go on PKA, you are really missing out. It was funny as fuck. It was really, really funny. Finster is both Xander Hall? What? Hold on. The hosts of PKA are pretty transphobic too. So like, you know they're chasers, right? We know the science, it's a law. And so this video exists. 14 minutes of Kyle. For those that don't know, Kyle is FPS Russia. Yes, that FPS Russia, the FPS Russia, the crazy Russian guy with the guns, flirting with Finster. Let's watch.
I worry about all that. Now, I am vaccinated and boosted, in case anyone wants to know. So if I get it...
I see Finster adjust her titties.
I could just sit here doing this.
Yeah, fucking pop them. Let's go.
Yeah, like that whole like elbow trick thing. Completely works,
this is
man.
FPS Russia.
He's not a slut.
I am.
Okay, he is. Like the definition of a...
Yeah.
To save the mother.
To save the mom, or they've gotten some horrible medical news about this baby.
Yeah, it'd be like a stillbirth or something.
Or
it's them doing an anti-abortion bit.
Going to like be born with
and Finster's just like sitting there like
it's hard on the outside with no eyes or something.
Yep. And you know, and this is a kid, like I said, 7-8 months in, they were very much looking forward to little baby. And so anyway, the whole third trimester argument against abortion, I feel like they misrepresent their side when they do it.
Yeah.
Why did Finster go on there? Because Finster's like a longtime PKA fan. Like, so am I. I don't agree with their politics at all, but at least until recently, they didn't discuss politics much, so it was just mostly a funny podcast to get stoned and listen to while gaming.
Yeah, Finster's over there covering up under Kyle's chauvinist gaze.
I don't think anyone spotted it. When I went like this, you can kind of get what I mean when I did this. You see what I mean?
I spotted it.
Yeah. That's what it looks like all the time when I was talking about that trick I could do.
Yeah, mush them together.
Mush them together. God, that's so unsexy, I think.
It started on the nipple area and like grew out from there, and I hated that look because I just had that like middle tuft here and then just hairy ass nipples and then like enough hair around it to be noticeable. And I remember once in the bathroom, like before school, it was like swimming in gym or something, and I was like shaving around my nipples, and it wasn't until after I did it that like I was like, this is the worst look imaginable because
really?
it's two perfectly clean areas around my nipples.
Oh, because you've got other hair.
Because I had
it's
other
just
hair.
targets.
Yeah,
you underestimate how
weird.
light your skin gets when there's no hair on it. I guarantee you saw that with your legs.
Just
I was
targets.
really shocked how like bright they look.
No, because I shave my nipples too. Anywhere I want a girl's mouth to go, that's getting shaved.
There's gotta be like 1,000 people that like would look far better than me, or like tens of thousands of people, millions
in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that is also my policy. Anywhere I want a girl's mouth to go is getting shaved. Hell, anywhere, even places I don't want any girls' mouths to go is getting shaved.
Of course. Oh, you know,
You're the hottest one here.
Thank you. My ego.
How much of a donation are we going to need for you to get actual breast implants? I think that's what everyone wants to know.
I've said how much it would be. I think the number changes all the time, but it depends how long they'd be for. Because everyone's got a number for like how long for a year.
Finish.
I think that's where I'll leave it. Oh my god. Oh yeah, no. Finster's got an active like donation going now to get like legit breast implants now. I'm pretty sure. And there's like I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of people that donate absurd amounts of money trying to get that donation amount. Still sis, yeah. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? Three, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. We've talked about Steven Crowder's divorce issues already. We've gone over the leaked video from that security camera footage where he was being like a massive like man-child and like borderline abusive husband who kind of like threatened to hit his pregnant wife while he was like forcing her to go out to run errands and like buy cleaning supplies and clean and shit. It just really didn't make him look good at all. And since then, let's be honest, his channel's been pretty quiet. Like, he's still doing relatively well, but he really lost a lot of broader respect when that shit came out. And I don't know how this flew under my radar the last 2 weeks, but I have a feeling this is going to hurt as well as more people start picking up on it and covering it. Steven Crowder allegedly sent photos of his genitals and exchanged drugs in quote-unquote super creepy workplace, ex-staffers say. Steven Crowder has been a lightning rod for controversy since he launched his online show, Louder with Crowder, but behind the scenes, his bombastic behavior has taken center stage, with allegations of abusive behavior towards his estranged wife Hillary, as well as claims of toxic workplace conduct by former employees. For those that don't know, Steven Crowder runs an entire company. Louder with Crowder is like run out of a compound building where he's got studios and like break rooms and like an entire room of people that not only does he have a room of people that are backing him up with like microphones and whatnot, but he's got an entire production crew and he's got like he's in a compound, he's in a studio, he's massively wealthy and he's a company owner. It's not like just some guy who's passionately making YouTube content about stuff he believes in. He's running a company where his bottom line is determined on him towing the line. Now, the fallout from the contentious divorce as well as Crowder's alleged workplace misconduct threatens to derail the enormously popular show that once landed its right-wing star with a $50 million offer from the Daily Wire. Mediaite spoke with 5 former show staffers and one source close to Crowder under the condition of anonymity due to fear of retaliation, who described a workplace rife with bullying, alarming and unpredictable behavior, as well as lewd sexual workplace misconduct. Earlier this month, after repeated suspensions, Louder with Crowder decamped from YouTube, where it commanded a mighty audience of 5.8 million subscribers, to Rumble, a less regulated but much smaller alternative. The show's audience was dwindled on Rumble, to the point where his last 5 shows have averaged some 288,000 viewers. A far cry from the millions Crowder once saw per episode. Yeah, he's really fallen off. The show's viewership troubles follow years of alleged misconduct behind the scenes. One former Louder with Crowder employee told Mediate that during his time on the show, he received unsolicited, sexually graphic texts that included photos of Crowder's genitalia. Those texts and images were reviewed by Mediate. In the moment, we dismissed it as sort of frat boy humor. In hindsight, it's super creepy and felt groomerish, the ex-employee said. It always felt like childish behavior in the moment that then felt predatory in hindsight, he explained. Like, he was always testing people's comfort levels with that kind of behavior, because he was the boss. Though, and he had no accountability. It just continued to happen. There was no one trusted that we could complain to. So, for those that are wondering, this was not some, like, innocent just sending dick pics to the bros for, like, the daily cock check. This was him unsolicitedly, like a weirdo creep, sending his, like, male employees pictures of his junk as, like, a playful prank, but the people on the receiving end of that playful prank didn't really see it that way. In addition to receiving unwanted sexual text messages, the former employee alleged that Crowder habitually exposed himself to other male staffers, a claim backed up by 2 other sources. Once again, these are not consensual cock checks or cock inspections or like dick measure-offs. These are weird, like Crowder's just apparently kind of just whipping it out at work. Wait, daily cock check? Is that a thing that happens? You wouldn't get it. You're not a straight guy. In regards to exposing himself in general, to my knowledge, he only exposed himself to male staffers. It happened all the time. It was a regular occurrence. It usually happened when he was in a really good, sort of manic mood. So while we were all disgusted by it, and it was never welcomed, it was preferable to him being in a bad mood and how he treated people in that state, the former staffer said. Isn't there a drug that's known for putting people in, like, a very, like, good mood, and it also makes them very likely to engage in really touchy behavior, like taking off their clothes and like groping people and shit? Yeah, is that MDMA? Do you think he was high on MDMA? I think ecstasy is known for that. Yeah.
Nice cock, bro. Perfect length. Excellent curvature. 8.5 out of 10.
Steven never explained it. We never talked about it. It would just happen. And everyone would either throw out a fake, uncomfortable laugh or show clear disgust, which Steven interpreted as his reward for what he did. He continued. The more disgusted everyone seemed, the more pleasure he seemed to get from it. It's like he couldn't understand that we weren't in on his joke. So, very much just outright sexually harassing employees there, apparently, according to those ex-employees. In response to a request for comment, Louder with Crowder's CEO Gerald Morgan Jr. told Mediate, while Louder with Crowder does not provide details on personal private medical matters or personal issues, it is important to note that many of these claims are missing context, clear misrepresentations, or outright falsehoods. So very predictably, they denied it. Another source close to Crowder also said they witnessed him expose himself to male staff in the office, but chalked it up to childish behavior. I have personally witnessed that on one occasion, they said. My personal theory is that I have personally witnessed that on one occasion, they said. My personal theory is that he is a man-child and just thinks it's funny, like boys in middle school playing pranks on each other in the locker room. That to me seems to be his mentality. Could it be a power move? Possibly. They said. He does virtually nothing that a grown man should do for himself. Wash his own laundry, prepare his own food, buy his own groceries. Most of the time, someone else does all of that for him. So he's like a child that needs to be taken care of, and his humor reflects that type of childish behavior. That is the most believable thing I've ever heard in my life, dude. The idea of not being able to do your own laundry is ridiculous. Like, listen, I'm tempted to hire someone to do my dishes, okay? I hate doing the dishes. That's the worst chore. But laundry, it's really not that hard. You just fill a bucket, like a basket with your dirty laundry when you're done with it, and then you toss that shit into a machine with a couple of, like, cups of soap, and then you hit a button and you come back for it like an hour later and put it in another machine, and then you hit a button as well. Throw a couple of pieces of paper, like little paper, the fabric softener shit in there, close it, throw it in for like less than an hour, but you can come back an hour later, and then you just bring it back up. The hardest part is folding your laundry and putting it away, but that's not even that hard. Like, really, laundry is like the most daunting in concept, but least strenuous of chores you could possibly have to do as like an adult living on your own. It really isn't that hard. Another former employee said incidents of genital exposure in the workplace were so routine that they became almost unremarkable. And the guys just talked about it amongst themselves, and I don't want to say it became normal, but it became less of a big deal. That's wild. They got normalized to it. So there's a case to be made he was grooming employees, the former employee said. Stephen may excuse some of that, saying he was friends with some of his employees, but that, again, draws some questions. There are power dynamics at play regardless of how friendly you are with staff. And also, just don't send your penis in a message. So gross. True. Unless someone asks for it. Sometimes you'll get asked for it, but not there. A different ex-staffer said Crowder would often make uncomfortable comments during a men's-only Bible study he held in 2021. The staffer said Crowder frequently remarked that, quote-unquote, men used to be more physically intimate with each other, and then, quote-unquote, would reference a passage from the Bible where Abraham's servant would put his hands on Abraham's inner thigh to be closer to Abraham's descendants' balls. Come on, guys. We all know every bigot is either paid to be a bigot out of sheer ignorance, or is in the closet about something. Allegations of Crowder revealing his genitalia in the workplace were first reported by the New York Post. In response, Crowder mocked the allegations during a skit on his show. The Post report, to be fair, the New York Post sucks. The Post report came in the wake of the publication of Ring video footage from Crowder's home, which showed him berating his then pregnant wife, saying, quote-unquote, "I will fuck you up." The two are now embroiled in a bitter divorce. Yet Crowder's alleged penchant for exhibitionism and angry outbursts are only a portion of the inappropriate workplace behavior described by sources who worked for the YouTube star. Multiple former staffers and a source close to Crowder claim the conservative firebrand would offer and ask staffers for prescription drugs like Klonopin, I don't know what that is, an anticonvulsant used to treat seizures and is also prescribed to treat anxiety, as well as cannabis gummies and opiates like Percocet. He was on Percocet. Mediate reviewed text exchanges between Crowder and former employees confirming these claims. Stephen was known for passing out prescription drugs fairly freely, one former employee alleged. Oh yeah, for those that don't know, these conservative outlets that spew nothing but religious fundamentalist propaganda are massive fucking degenerates behind the scenes. Just huge degenerates. It's like when what's her name? Lauren Southern exposed Paul Joseph Watson sexually harassing her. It's surprising to employees that when your boss is offering and or asking for things like that, they said. However, because the work environment is so crazy, employees end up getting desensitized to the point where when things like that occur, it almost just seems normal. It's not until you actually step away for a bit that you realize how wrong these things were. The former employee who received genitalia photos from Crowder shared a similar sentiment about working for the YouTube star. We've often debated this. It's like any abusive relationship. When it's good, it can be really fun, they said. Most people enjoy the work itself. When it's bad, it's really bad. But over time, most become so numb to it, they don't see how messed up the place is until they got out. In the past, Crowder's troubles have prompted him to step away from the show. On December 10th, 2020, Crowder sent an email with the subject line, "Official Notice, Some Life Decisions," which announced to his staff his plans to retire. In the lengthy message, Crowder apologized for his behavior. "I hope everyone here understands just how much you mean to me, and how sorry I am for falling short of my duties every time I've spoken out of anger or ego," he wrote. "Everyone here deserves better. Everyone here deserves a leader they can believe in, and in real-world results. I just don't think I'm the guy for the job. I love you all very much." 3 ex-staffers claim Crowder checked into the Carlton Springs, a psychiatric and chemical dependency facility in Texas. He went to rehab. Shortly after that email was sent. Before long, though, Crowder returned to the show and continued to broadcast to his large audience. 3 years later, a source close to Crowder said working for the scandal-embroiled host remains very stressful. "It's like walking on eggshells most of the time," they said. "Most employees are overworked and underpaid. Nothing is ever good enough. Office morale is extremely low, and many employees have stated that they want to give up and quit." And there you have it. Jesus. None of this surprises me at all, but what does surprise me is the fact that this story went under my radar and went under the radar of so many other lefty content creators, because, like, how is this not talked about fervently by everybody when this dropped? I guess, like, it's probably because so many of the lefty content sphere are just obsessed with making hate videos on Debate Bros. Like, we probably have, like, 4 new big anti-Debate Bro videos in the pipeline right now that are bound to come out over the next couple months. So I guess there's just too much attention being put into the, culling of Debate Bros from the online left to call out Steven Crowder's, like, insane scandals that he's been embroiled in. But, well, at least someone's out here covering this shit. I know that at least Sam Cedar covered it too. So, once again, the Majority Report comes out supreme. How'd you guys like that segment? I feel like that segment came out real good. Hell yeah. Good seggy. Hell yeah. I'm ready when you are? Alright. So everybody, I'm going to be rating a pillow, but before I do that, before I raid into a pillow, I am once again going to share the link. Actually, do I have to re-get that link? I have to re-get that link to the Final Fantasy XIV free company. Join my Final Fantasy XIV free company, chat. Seriously. We're going hard on that shit. That's going to be my bread and butter for the next, like, probably until Hytale releases, to be honest with you. So, La Bing, there is a link to the free company. La Bing, there is a link to the free company. And there's already a bunch in Twitch chat. So yes, please, join the free company. As many people as possible is what we want. We are very inclusive and very, like, accepting and open. It's a very friendly space. We are very open to teaching and accepting new players and getting them into the game and helping you through stuff. So please consider joining. I'm going to be in VC hanging out. We do watch parties of shows in there and stuff too while we're running some content. So, like, seriously, it's really worth joining. There is one rule though. If you play a Lalafell, you cannot sexualize your character, and you cannot sexualize any other Lalafell characters no matter what you play. No engaging in any form of ERP or slutmoggery if you play as or engage with, like, Lalafells, any of that shit. Not allowed. You'll be insta-banned, and I will report you to the FBI. But outside of that, like, you can make, like, an old man ironic Lalafell. That's fine. But we'll have our eyes on you. And also your last name needs to be Striker. But other than that, very friendly, very light, no pressure. Consider joining. Yeah, like Lalafell dad builds are fine. Like where it's like a little 2-foot tall dad Lalafell with a mustache and a beard that looks like he's an old man. That's fine. I like those. That just looks like a short old man. What's a Lalafell? They're like the gnomes of the game, but they're very child-coded. And as you can imagine, there's some... Yeah. You know. Anyway, yeah, get in there, guys.
Today again.
All right, everybody. I'm raiding into a pillow. Everybody go into a pillow's stream, say some nice shit, subscribe, leave a like on the stream. Particularly that. Leave a like on the stream. It really does go a long way. And yeah, thank you all for coming out today. I'll be streaming tomorrow, of course, so I hope to see you all there, as always. But yeah, with all that said, I really appreciate you all coming out. You've been amazing, lovely, beautiful, and awesome. I'm going to be hopping on FF14 in just a little bit, so I hope to see many of you there. And yeah, have a good one, everybody.